Imagine waking up feeling clear, calm, and ready to focus deeply on what matters most to you. Right now, your brain is likely pulled in many directions by constant distractions, quick pleasures, and non-stop noise. This leaves your mind tired, scattered, and hungry for real meaning. What if you could change that? What if you could train your brain to resist those pulls, to slow down and to concentrate fully without getting worn out or distracted? This is exactly what a dopamine detox can help you achieve. It's not about giving up all pleasure or going to extremes. It's about understanding how your brain craves quick hits of satisfaction and learning to control those urges. You'll discover how to reset your focus, build habits that strengthen your attention, and protect your most important work time fiercely. Throughout this guide, you'll find practical steps that anyone can follow, no matter your background or current struggles. These aren't just tips, but proven ways to build real mental strength and discipline every single day. You'll learn how to spot the triggers that weaken your control, how to replace shallow distractions with purposeful challenges, and how to make stillness a daily habit that sharpens your mind. You'll also uncover how simple choices, like writing down your goals every morning or honoring small promises to yourself, can become powerful tools to prove you're in control. This process helps you connect with your true self, protect your mornings from meaningless noise, and transform boredom from an enemy into a tool for focus. This journey isn't easy, but it's deeply rewarding. It asks you to face discomfort, resist quick pleasures, and stay present even when it's tempting to run away. By doing this, you don't just improve your work or productivity, you grow stronger in your mind, build lasting habits, and create a life where you lead instead of react. If you want to stop feeling overwhelmed by distractions and start living with purpose, focus, and resilience, this guide is for you. It's time to train your brain for deep work and reclaim your attention, your energy, and your life. Keep reading and take the first step toward real change today. Chapter 1. Eliminate digital distractions to reset your mental clarity. Every day, people wake up and immediately reach for their phone. Before they've even spoken a word, stretched their bodies, or looked outside the window, they've already consumed more information than their great-grandparents did in an entire week. Notifications, news alerts, viral videos, and endless scrolling have become the background noise of modern life. It all seems normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy, and certainly not clear. Mental clarity is not something that comes to us passively. It's something we create, something we earn. In a world full of distractions, particularly digital ones, mental clarity becomes a rare and valuable strength. You can't build deep focus or real discipline until you reclaim control of your attention. And you can't control your attention if something else is constantly hijacking it. Every ping, every buzz, every scroll might seem harmless, but each one costs you something. It takes a piece of your attention, a bit of your energy, and over time it steals your ability to sit with yourself, think deeply, and act with purpose. That's the real danger of digital distractions. It's not the device, it's what it's doing to your mind without you even realizing it. Digital distractions train your brain to be reactive instead of intentional. They condition you to seek novelty instead of clarity. The constant stimulation wires your brain to expect instant rewards, which makes it nearly impossible to concentrate on anything difficult, meaningful, or long-term. This is not about quitting technology or going off-grid. This is about creating a life where your tools serve you, not the other way around. Start by recognizing what's happening in your daily life. How often are you switching between apps? How quickly do you reach for your phone when there's silence? How much time are you losing in between tasks just by checking something real quick? These micro moments of distraction add up. They fragment your attention and train your brain to function in a scattered way. You don't need a fancy strategy to reclaim your clarity. You just need honesty and commitment. The first real step is awareness. Notice your habits without judgment. Pay attention to the triggers that send you to your phone. Is it boredom, stress, uncertainty? Understand the patterns behind your behavior. When you identify the trigger, you can begin to take back control. Next, start to create friction between you and your distractions. Don't rely on willpower. Change your environment. Turn off non-essential notifications. Remove apps from your home screen. Use website blockers during work hours. Put your phone in another room when you need to concentrate. Charge it outside your bedroom at night. These aren't extreme steps, they're simple changes that protect your attention. And over time they change the way your brain functions. Your brain is always adapting. When you stop giving it constant digital stimulation, it learns to function at a different rhythm. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. You might feel restless or bored. That's normal. That's your brain adjusting to a new state. One where it doesn't rely on constant hits of dopamine to feel engaged. The discomfort is not a problem. It's a signal of change. Mental clarity comes when you remove the noise. It's the result of subtraction, not addition. When your mind is not overwhelmed with inputs, it starts to settle. You begin to notice your thoughts, hear your inner voice, and focus more easily. You start to feel a kind of mental stillness that's rare in this overstimulated world. That stillness is where real thought, creativity, and action begin. This doesn't mean you should avoid all digital tools. It means you use them with intention. If you're going to check email, schedule it. If you're going to scroll social media, limit the time and use a timer. If you're using a device for entertainment, be fully aware of that choice. Don't slip into it without realizing. When you bring awareness to your digital habits, you bring control to your life. A strong and clear mind doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of disciplined choices, repeated daily. Choosing to turn your phone off an hour before bed. Choosing to read a book instead of browsing mindlessly. Choosing to work on something difficult without checking for messages every 5 minutes. These aren't small choices, they are acts of self-respect. Each time you resist a digital distraction, you send yourself a powerful message. You are in control. That message builds confidence, it builds clarity, it builds trust in yourself. Over time, those little decisions turn into a new identity, one that doesn't need constant stimulation to feel whole, one that is capable of sitting with discomfort, focusing on what matters, and thinking deeply. If you want to do meaningful work, you have to eliminate meaningless noise. You can't create anything valuable if your mind is constantly jumping from one tab to another. Creativity, strategy, and insight all require space. They need silence. They need a mind that isn't being pulled in 10 different directions. That kind of mind is rare, but it can be built. Understand this truth deeply. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, your results grow. If your attention is scattered, your life will feel scattered. If your attention is focused, your life will become clear and powerful. That clarity is not something anyone can give you. It's something you must protect. Start with small wins. Try going 1 hour in the morning without touching your phone. Use that time to think, move, write, or just be still. See how different your day feels. Notice how your mind reacts when it's not being constantly stimulated. Then slowly build from there. Add another hour, then another. Build daily spaces where your mind can breathe. Eventually, you'll realize that most of what you used to check wasn't urgent. It wasn't important. It was just habit. You were feeding a system that didn't serve you. But once you break that cycle, you begin to build a system that does. A system where you are fully present, where you're not chasing notifications, but building something lasting, something meaningful. Distraction is a form of avoidance. When we constantly reach for something to look at, we're often trying to avoid something within ourselves. A fear, a thought, a feeling. But those things don't go away just because we ignore them. They wait, they grow, and they drain us quietly. When you remove the distractions, you face yourself, and that's when real growth begins. You can't improve what you won't face. Clarity isn't just about focus, it's about honesty. When your mind is clear, you can see your values. You can see your flaws. You can see your potential. And that's when you can begin to change. You don't need to know the entire path. You just need to see the next right step. And you can't even do that if your mind is clouded by noise. This is your life. This is your mind. You get one. Guard it. Protect it. Don't let every little notification interrupt your peace. Don't let someone else's algorithm decide what you think about today. Take that power back. Make space to hear yourself, think, to sit in silence, to work on something real, to do what matters, not just what's easy. In the end, digital distractions aren't just stealing your time. They're stealing your attention, your energy, your purpose, your potential. The cost is invisible but immense. But the good news is, the solution is within reach. You don't need to do anything extreme. You just need to start choosing clarity over chaos, intention over impulse, focus over noise. Once you taste that mental clarity, when your mind feels calm, your thoughts feel sharp, and you're fully present in your work and life, you'll never want to go back. You'll begin to live on your own terms. You'll start to feel power in your quiet. You'll realize that true freedom isn't in doing more, it's in needing less. You are not meant to be constantly stimulated. You are not designed to multitask every minute of the day. Your mind was built for depth, for silence, for vision. Give it the space it needs to return to its natural strength. Your clarity is not gone, it's just buried. Under the noise, under the apps, under the endless input. But it's still there waiting for you to return. So begin now. Turn off the noise, choose stillness, reclaim your attention, and watch how everything else in your life begins to shift. Not overnight, but steadily. As you make space for deep thought, for deep work, and for a life that reflects who you truly are. Not just what the world pushes in front of you. The discipline to eliminate distractions is a form of self-respect, and when you respect yourself enough to protect your attention, you unlock a kind of clarity, strength, and purpose that most people never experience. Make that your standard. Not tomorrow, not someday, because your attention shapes your reality, and your reality starts with what you choose to focus on today. Chapter 2. Build a daily routine that strengthens your inner focus. There's something powerful about starting your day with purpose. Before the world can get to you, before the noise begins, you decide who you're going to be and what kind of day you're going to live. That power isn't found in a single action or grand decision. It's found in the small, consistent steps that build your foundation. A strong daily routine is not about rigidity or perfection. It's about structure that serves your clarity and strengthens your ability to focus from the inside out. Most people live in reaction mode. They wake up and immediately check their phone, read the news, reply to messages, and get pulled into other people's priorities. They begin the day behind and try to catch up from there. When you live this way, your attention is fragmented, your energy is scattered, and your ability to focus weakens over time. To build inner focus, you have to take control of the way your day begins and the way it flows. You have to create a system that protects your attention and gives your mind a clear path to follow. A routine is not just a schedule, it's a commitment to how you want to live. It's a way to tell your mind and body every single day that you're in charge. The more consistent your routine becomes, the less mental energy you waste on deciding what to do next. That energy is preserved for the work that actually matters, the work that requires real focus, presence and depth. The brain craves pattern. When you give it a clear and meaningful structure, it adapts to it. Over time, focus becomes your natural state, not something you have to fight for. Start by identifying the moments in your day that have the highest leverage. The morning is one of them. What you do in the first hour after waking sets the tone for your entire day. If you begin the day in a rush or get lost in digital input, your focus will be weaker. But if you begin with calm intention and clarity, your mind becomes more centered. You don't need to create a complicated morning routine. You need a simple and consistent one that strengthens your mental discipline. Give yourself time in the morning without screens. Create space to move your body, clear your mind and reflect. Write down your goal. Read something that fuels your mind. Drink water. Breathe deeply. These small acts might seem basic, but they signal to your brain that the day begins with order, not chaos. It's not about productivity, it's about direction. When your morning starts with direction, you become the one guiding the day instead of being pulled by it. The next part of your routine should be the deep work block. This is a protected time in your day when you focus on your most important task without distraction. It doesn't matter what time it is, as long as it's consistent. Choose a time where your energy is strong and your environment is quiet. During this block, remove all unnecessary inputs. No notifications, no multitasking, no checking things on the side. Your brain needs time to sink into depth. Give it that time. Train it to go deep instead of wide. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. Focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. After the deep work block, your routine should allow for recovery. Mental focus is intense and requires rest. Build small breaks into your day where you step away from work, not to scroll or distract yourself, but to reset your mind. Go outside, stretch, breathe. These pauses allow your brain to recover and prepare for the next round of focus. Without breaks, your attention becomes dull and scattered. The rest of your day should follow a rhythm that matches your energy. Align high-focus tasks with high-energy periods. Reserve lighter tasks for when your mind naturally dips. This kind of awareness helps you work with your brain, not against. But none of this happens unless you build a structure that supports it. A routine is not about squeezing more into your day, it's about removing what doesn't matter so you can give more to what does. Discipline is built through repetition. When you stick to your routine, even when it's inconvenient, you train your brain to follow through. This builds self-trust. That trust turns into confidence. That confidence turns into strength. Each time you honor your routine, you make it easier to focus the next time. Each time you abandon it, you make it harder to come back. This is not about being perfect, it's about being committed. You will have days when everything feels off. Days when your energy is low or your plans fall apart. That's normal. The key is not to abandon your routine. The key is to return to it, quickly and calmly. Your routine is your anchor. It holds you steady when things feel unstable, and when you return to it, even after a setback, you remind yourself that focus is not a feeling, it's a decision. To make your routine sustainable, you need to keep it simple. Don't overload it with too many habits. Choose a few that matter and do them well. Simplicity increases consistency. Consistency builds identity. When you show up for your routine every day, you stop needing motivation. It becomes who you are. You don't argue with yourself about whether or not to do it. You just do it. That's when inner focus becomes part of you, not just something you chase. The most powerful routines are the ones built around your values. Ask yourself what matters most. What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of energy do you want to bring to your work and relationships? Design your routine to reflect those answers. That alignment creates emotional clarity. It makes your actions feel meaningful, not mechanical. Evening routines are just as important. How you end your day affects the quality of your rest, your recovery, and your preparation for tomorrow. Give yourself time in the evening to wind down. Shut off screens early. Reflect on what went well. Plan for the next day. Protect your last hour before sleep. When you end the day with intention, you sleep better. When you sleep better, you focus better. Everything is connected. This way of living is not complicated, but it requires effort. The effort is worth it because it creates a life that feels grounded. When your day has structure, your mind becomes more stable. You feel more in control. You stop reacting to everything. You stop chasing. You start building. You start choosing. And those choices, made daily, build something far stronger than motivation or hype. They build self-mastery. You will notice changes as you stay consistent. Your attention will feel sharper. Your emotions will feel calmer. Your work will feel more meaningful. You will start to accomplish more with less stress. You will begin to trust your ability to focus and follow through. That trust becomes your fuel. It carries you through resistance, through setbacks, through doubt. You do not need to create a perfect routine to improve your life. You need to create a routine that honors your energy, protects your focus, and keeps you connected to your purpose. That routine will look different for each person. What matters is that it works for you and that you stay loyal to it. Your mind craves that rhythm. Your spirit needs that order. Not for the sake of control, but for the freedom it creates. Freedom comes from discipline. Focus comes from structure. Growth comes from consistency. And it all begins with how you choose to live your day. You have that choice every morning. You have that choice every time you drift. You have that choice now. A strong routine is not a punishment. It's a gift you give to yourself, a gift that makes every part of your life stronger. This is how you build inner focus, not by chasing it, not by waiting for the right time, but by living each day with structure that reflects your values, choices that strengthen your discipline, and habits that protect your attention. That's how clarity grows. That's how purpose deepens. That's how a scattered life becomes a focused one day at a time. Chapter 3. Schedule deep work hours and protect them fiercely. Most people never tap into their full potential because their days are filled with shallow tasks that barely require any mental effort. The world is overflowing with distractions that pull attention in every direction, leaving almost no space for real thinking, deep work, or uninterrupted progress. In this kind of environment, productivity becomes reactive, not deliberate. Work gets done in fragments. Ideas stay scattered. Progress remains slow and frustrating. But there's a powerful way to break out of that cycle. It's called deep work, and it begins with a firm decision to make focused time sacred in your daily life. Deep work is not something that happens by accident. It must be scheduled, protected, and respected. It's a decision to disconnect from everything that is shallow so your mind can do what it was truly built to do: create, solve, understand, and build. Your best ideas don't come from scrolling through endless notifications. They come from giving your brain space to engage deeply with a meaningful task. That kind of work requires solitude, silence, and commitment. You can't drift into deep work, you must prepare for it. Start by setting a specific time in your day that will be dedicated to uninterrupted focus. This isn't something you squeeze in when everything else is finished. This is the priority. Block off a time where you can be alone, where there will be no meetings, no messages, and no digital interruptions. Give this time the same weight as you would give a critical appointment. You are not waiting for free time to appear. You are creating space on purpose. Once you've identified your deep work hours, treat them with seriousness. Don't leave them unguarded. Don't allow exceptions to become excuses. If someone asks for your time during those hours, you say no. If a distraction arises, you push it aside. You are protecting something valuable, your ability to produce meaningful results. During deep work, your attention is a tool, not a target. You are not reacting. You are creating. You don't need to work for 10 hours straight to feel progress. A single hour of focused work is more valuable than 5 hours of fragmented effort. When you're fully locked in, your brain enters a state of flow. Time moves differently. You lose awareness of distractions. You become absorbed in the task. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when momentum builds. That's where the real progress begins. To make this possible, you must remove what gets in the way. Keep your phone far from reach. Silence every alert. Close every tab that isn't essential to the task. Clear your space. Create an environment that invites focus, not resistance. If your surroundings are full of noise and clutter, your mind will reflect that. You are creating a container for concentration. Every small detail matters. Before you begin each deep work session, decide exactly what you're going to work on. Don't wander into your time without direction. Choose a single task, set a clear outcome, know what progress looks like. This removes ambiguity and builds momentum. The more precise you are, the more productive you become. Vagueness is the enemy of focus. Clarity sharpens it. Don't wait until you feel like it. Deep work is not about inspiration, it's about discipline. Your brain won't always be ready. Some days you'll feel scattered. Some days you'll feel tired. That doesn't matter. Show up anyway. The act of showing up, even when it's hard, strengthens your mind. You're teaching yourself to push through discomfort. That is how resilience grows. When you commit to a routine of focused work, your brain adapts. You build cognitive endurance. Tasks that once felt heavy start to feel manageable. Distractions lose their grip. Focus becomes easier to enter and sustain. You're not just working better, you're becoming someone who works better, someone who is reliable, grounded, and intentional with time and energy. Avoid the trap of multitasking. Even during deep work, it's tempting to toggle between tasks, to quickly check something, to open one more tab. Resist it completely. Every switch comes with a cost. Your brain takes time to reorient, to regain flow, to reconnect with depth. Stay with one task, follow it through. That singular focus is what produces real quality and speed. Protecting deep work time also means protecting your energy outside of it. What you eat, how you sleep, how you move, all of it matters. A tired body makes a distracted mind. Take care of yourself not just to feel better, but to focus better. A sharp mind is not a random gift. It's the result of how you live, how you think, and how you treat your time. It's easy to believe that constant busyness equals progress, but real results come from focused effort, not scattered activity. You can spend an entire day being busy and accomplish very little that actually matters, or you can spend 2 deeply focused hours and make real, measurable progress. Quality beats quantity every time, especially when it comes to mental work. This approach will separate you from most people. Most are addicted to distraction. Most don't know how to be alone with their thoughts for even 5 minutes. Most never give themselves the gift of full focus. When you build deep work into your life, you start to live differently. You produce at a higher level. You think more clearly. You feel more satisfied with your effort. The discipline to schedule deep work hours is a commitment to excellence. It's a refusal to waste your potential. It's a choice to build something lasting instead of being consumed by the temporary. You're not just getting more done, you're aligning your energy with something meaningful. You're choosing depth in a world that pushes you toward distraction. Don't underestimate what you can accomplish in a short period of deep focus. A week of consistent deep work can move you further than a month of scattered effort. The key is to keep showing up. The gains are often invisible at first, but over time, they stack. Your skills improve, your confidence grows. Your results speak louder than your effort. You will face resistance. You will be tempted to delay, to give in to easier tasks, to check one more thing before you start. These moments matter. Every time you choose to honor your focus instead of feeding your impulses, you build strength. That strength compounds. You start to trust yourself more. You stop seeking quick rewards and start building lasting success. Make deep work a non-negotiable part of your life. It is not optional if you want to reach your full potential. Treat it with the same seriousness you would treat your health or your relationships. Because the truth is, the quality of your work affects every part of your life. When you work with clarity, you live with clarity. When you work with purpose, you live with purpose. This is not about working harder, it's about working with intention. It's about deciding what deserves your energy and giving it everything you have. Deep work isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, fully, completely, undividedly present. In those moments you reconnect with your strength. You step into your best self. So choose your hours, block them, guard them, honor them, and show up with full attention, not because you have to, but because you can. Because your mind is capable of more, because your time is worth more, because your life deserves more than shallow effort. And because focus is not just a skill, it's a way of being, one that changes everything. Chapter 4. Reduce instant pleasures that weaken your self-control. There is a constant pull in life toward what feels good right now. It shows up in the smallest moments, reaching for your phone when you're bored, opening another tab when work feels slow, eating something sweet just to pass the time, saying you'll start later because a quick distraction feels easier. These moments are everywhere, and while they seem harmless, they come with a cost. Each time you give in to an instant pleasure, you trade a piece of your self-control. Over time, you weaken the part of yourself that can wait, focus, and push through resistance. If you want to build strength, discipline, and long-term success, you must begin by reducing the grip of instant pleasures on your life. The problem is not the pleasure itself, it's the need for it. It's the reflex. It's the inability to sit with an urge and not act on it. That's what keeps you from growing. When something feels uncomfortable, boredom, effort, uncertainty, you look for something to numb it quickly. That escape becomes the habit. That habit becomes your way of life. And the worst part is that you don't even realize it's happening. It feels automatic, natural. But it's not. It's learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. You don't need to become a monk or give up all enjoyment. You need to notice what owns your attention. You need to see which urges pull you away from what you value most. When you're trying to stay focused but feel the itch to check your messages, that's an urge. When you're working on something important but feel drawn to grab a snack, that's another one. It's not about whether you follow the urge or not. It's about whether you even notice it. Most people don't. They follow the feeling without thinking. That's how self-control gets weaker. That's how discipline fades. To reverse this, start with awareness. Pay close attention to your urges throughout the day. Notice what triggers them. Notice what time they come. Notice what emotion you feel before they rise. You don't need to change anything at first. Just observe. The goal is to separate yourself from the urge long enough to see it clearly. Once you see it, you create space. And in that space you have a choice. That choice is everything. In that moment you can act with intention instead of impulse. You can remind yourself that not every urge needs a response. You can train yourself to feel discomfort without trying to escape it. That training builds strength. Every time you resist a short-term reward, you prove to yourself that you are in control. That proof builds confidence. Confidence builds identity, and identity shapes the life you live. Instant pleasures feel good for a moment but leave you empty. They give a quick spike of dopamine, followed by a crash of regret or numbness. They don't nourish you. They don't strengthen you. They don't bring you closer to anything you care about. They only delay growth. If you want to move forward, you have to let go of the need to always feel comfortable. You have to value what lasts over what feels good right now. The solution is not to resist everything with force. That's not sustainable. The solution is to replace the mindless with the meaningful. Replace mindless scrolling with reading something that expands you. Replace passive entertainment with active creation. Replace snacking out of boredom with moving your body. Replace avoidance with engagement. It's not about cutting out all pleasure. It's about choosing the kind of pleasure that leaves you stronger, not weaker. There is a kind of pleasure that comes from discipline, from completing something hard, from following through, from delaying gratification. That kind of pleasure builds real self-respect, and that respect becomes the foundation of a better life. When you feel proud of your actions, your confidence grows. When your confidence grows, your actions become bolder. That upward spiral starts with a small decision to not give in to what's easy. Start by choosing one area of your life where instant pleasure is stealing your time or clarity. It could be your phone. It could be food. It could be entertainment. It could be gossip. Choose one and create rules around it. Clear, simple rules. For example, no social media before noon, no sugar during the workday, no video streaming until the evening. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Every time you follow your own rule, you build strength. Every time you break it, don't judge yourself. Just begin again. This is training, not punishment. Make your environment support your choices. If you don't want to check your phone, keep it out of sight. If you don't want to eat junk food, don't bring it into your home. If you want to reduce mindless input, unfollow accounts that drain you. If you want to stop wasting time, delete the apps that trap you. Don't rely on willpower alone. Design your surroundings to make the better choice easier. You'll notice something powerful when you start this process. At first, resisting urges feels uncomfortable. It almost hurts, but over time, that discomfort fades. Your brain adjusts. It stops craving the easy fix. It stops expecting constant pleasure, and in its place, a deeper satisfaction grows. The satisfaction of control, the strength of delayed reward, the pride of inner stability. This is where real power lives, in the quiet confidence that you can say no to what doesn't serve you, in the stillness that comes from not needing constant stimulation, in the clarity that comes from choosing what aligns with your purpose. The more you reduce the pull of instant pleasures, the more focused and resilient you become. Your self-control is like a battery. If you waste it on meaningless choices, you'll have none left when it matters. But if you protect it, if you guard it and grow it, you'll have the strength to follow through when others quit. You'll have the endurance to keep going when it gets hard. And you'll build a life rooted in meaning, not distraction. There is freedom in saying no, not because you're denying yourself, but because you're choosing something greater. You're choosing growth over comfort, discipline over impulse, progress over escape, and that choice made daily is what transforms you. Not with noise, not with hype, but with quiet, steady power. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with one decision, one urge you don't follow, one habit you replace, one rule you commit to. From there build brick by brick, step by step, each day a little stronger, each day a little clearer, and in time you'll look back and realize you're no longer controlled by what once owned you. The world will keep offering you shortcuts, distractions, and quick fixes, but none of them will give you the depth, strength, or satisfaction you're truly looking for. That comes from within, from choosing what's hard over what's easy, from acting with purpose when your impulses tell you to quit. That's the real reward. That's the life worth building. Train yourself to wait. Train yourself to sit with tension. Train yourself to act with patience. The more you do, the less dependent you become on the surface-level rewards that fade quickly, and the more you rely on your own inner discipline to carry you forward. That discipline becomes your quiet superpower. You were not made to chase every craving. You were built to rise above them. You were built to lead yourself. And that leadership starts with saying no to what weakens you, and yes to what makes you stronger. This is your life. This is your time. Use it to grow. Use it to build. Use it to become the person you were meant to be. Chapter 5. Create intentional habits that align with your core goals. There is a difference between being busy and being intentional. Many people fill their days with effort, movement, and activity, but never move closer to the life they truly want. They follow routines that were never designed to support their values. They build habits out of repetition, not reflection, and over time, they confuse momentum with direction. If you want to live with purpose, if you want to use your energy in a way that leads somewhere meaningful, you must create habits that are designed to serve your core goals. Not what's popular, not what feels good temporarily, but what actually supports the vision you hold for your life. Intentional habits are not created by accident. They are built through clarity and consistency. Before you build any habit, you need to understand exactly what you are trying to achieve and why it matters. Without that clarity, you will chase goals that belong to other people or fall into patterns that feel productive but lead nowhere. You cannot afford to live on autopilot. You must know where you're going. You must ask yourself the hard questions. What do I want to build? Who do I want to become? What kind of life do I want to live? These answers become your compass. Without them, even your best effort will lack direction. Once you know what you want, the next step is to break that vision down into specific behaviors. These are the daily actions that move your goals from thought into reality. This is where intention meets discipline. Big goals don't require big actions. They require consistent ones. You don't need to do more. You need to do the right things repeatedly. You need to make your actions match your values. That alignment is where strength and progress come from. You may want to be healthy, but if your daily habits include poor sleep, mindless eating, and no movement, your life will not reflect that desire. You may want to be financially free, but if your habits include emotional spending and avoiding responsibility, your reality will not match your goal. You may want to be focused and calm, but if you begin each day with chaos, noise, and digital overload, your mind will not serve you the way you need. This is not about perfection, it's about honesty. If your habits don't support your goals will never materialize. To build intentional habits, you must simplify. Focus on fewer things, done better. Choose no more than 3 habits that directly support your top goals. These should be measurable, clear, and simple enough that you can follow through on them every day, regardless of mood or motivation. The more complicated you make a habit, the more likely it is to collapse under stress. Simplicity is your ally. It makes action automatic. Once your habits are chosen, you must anchor them to your daily structure. This means tying them to specific times, locations, or existing behaviors. If your habit has no anchor, it will float. If you anchor your new habit to something stable, like brushing your teeth, making your morning coffee, or starting your work session, it becomes predictable. Your brain begins to expect it. The more consistent the anchor, the faster the habit becomes automatic. Habits are built on repetition, not intensity. Doing something small every day is more powerful than doing something big once a week. Your goal is not to make dramatic changes overnight. Your goal is to become someone who does the right things without needing to think about them. The strength of a habit is not in how difficult it is, it's in how often you do it. Repetition creates identity. When you repeatedly act in alignment with your goals, you stop needing to remind yourself of who you want to be. You begin to believe that you already are that person. You will face resistance. Some days you will not feel like doing the work. Some days your energy will be low, your focus scattered, your motivation gone. This is where most people quit. They assume that progress should feel good all the time. It won't. Growth requires effort through discomfort. When you follow through on your habits during these moments, you build something more important than results. You build self-respect. You prove to yourself that your values matter more than your feelings. That proof becomes your foundation. It's not enough to just follow habits blindly. You need to review them often. Reflect on what's working, what's not, and why. If a habit no longer supports your goal, change it. If it's not delivering the results you want, adjust it. This process of refinement is what keeps your habits alive and aligned. Stagnant routines lead to stale results. Growth comes from constant self-awareness. You are not building habits to stay the same. You are building habits to evolve. Accountability helps reinforce this process. Tell someone your goals. Track your habits daily. Use a journal or a habit tracker to keep your actions visible. When progress is visible, motivation becomes steady. When actions are recorded, your excuses lose their strength. The more accountable you are, the more consistent you become. Don't rely on willpower alone. Use tools that keep you honest. Reward matters too. Your brain needs to associate your habits with positive outcomes. This doesn't mean you need to celebrate every time you follow through, but you do need to feel the benefits. Notice how you feel after you complete your habit. Write it down. Let your mind make the connection between effort and reward. That emotional reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways behind your behavior. Over time, it turns discipline into desire. Remember that your habits are not only shaping your results, they are shaping your identity. You are becoming the kind of person who shows up, who follows through, who honors their values. This is the real reward. Not just what you achieve, but who you become through the process. When your daily actions reflect your core goals, life begins to feel unified. You no longer feel divided between what you want and what you do. That internal alignment creates peace, strength, and momentum. You will still face moments of doubt, distraction, and delay. That's part of the process. Don't aim for perfect streaks. Aim for fast recovery. When you miss a day, come back stronger the next. When you drift, correct your course. Habits are not about never failing. They are about always returning. Consistency is not about never falling, it's about rising quickly. This is how real change happens. Not by waiting for the right time, not by setting vague intentions, but by building habits that serve your values, starting today. Every choice you make is either aligned or misaligned. Choose alignment. Choose actions that reinforce your goals, your strength, your growth. That choice, repeated daily, becomes your power. Your life is the sum of your habits. If you want a different outcome, build different patterns. If you want clarity, build habits that sharpen the mind. If you want peace, build habits that quiet the noise. If you want strength, build habits that stretch your limits. Whatever it is you seek, your habits are the path. Don't wait. Begin today with one simple decision. Choose one habit that supports your deepest goal. Start small, start steady, start strong, and never underestimate the power of showing up for yourself again and again until the habit becomes a part of who you are. Chapter 6. Design your environment to support deep concentration. Your mind responds to its surroundings more than you realize. The environment you place yourself in every day shapes how you think, what you focus on, and how deeply you can work. If your space is chaotic, your thoughts will be scattered. If your space is filled with noise, distractions, and digital interruptions, your attention will be divided and shallow. Deep concentration does not happen in the middle of clutter. It needs clarity, order, and intention. Designing an environment that supports focus is not a luxury, it's a necessity if you want to do meaningful work and maintain mental clarity. Start by removing the obvious distractions from your workspace. This includes your phone, your notifications, your open tabs, and anything that constantly pulls at your attention. If you keep your phone within arm's reach, your mind will always be partly connected to it. Even if you're not using it, just seeing it creates mental noise. Put it in another room, turn it off, or use tools that block access during focused hours. The fewer temptations you have in sight, the easier it becomes to focus deeply. Focus doesn't fail because you're weak. It fails because your environment constantly invites distraction. Clean your space. A cluttered desk often leads to a cluttered mind. You don't need a minimalist setup, but you do need order. Keep only what you need for the task at hand. Too many objects in your visual field compete for your attention. When everything has its place, your mind stops scanning for what's next. It settles into the task you've chosen. This mental quiet is where focus begins. Lighting matters more than you might think. Natural light keeps your energy steady and your mood elevated. If possible, work near a window or use lighting that mimics daylight. Avoid working under dim or flickering lights, as they can cause fatigue and drain your focus faster. The goal is to support your alertness without overstimulation. Small adjustments in lighting can create a significant shift in how your brain functions while you work. The sounds around you either support your concentration or break it. Some people work best in silence. Others benefit from soft background noise or instrumental music. What matters is choosing sound intentionally, not passively accepting whatever noise surrounds you. If your environment is filled with random conversations, TV noise, or unpredictable interruptions, you won't enter deep work. Use noise-canceling headphones, ambient playlists, or even white noise to block out distractions. Your auditory environment is a crucial part of your mental state. If you work from home or a shared space, set boundaries. Let the people around you know when you're entering focused work. A closed door, a signal, or a quiet agreement can protect your time and mental energy. Deep concentration is fragile. It breaks easily with interruption. Every time someone calls your name or asks a question mid-thought, it takes time and effort to return to that level of focus. Protecting your space is not selfish, it's necessary if you want to produce work that matters. Temperature, posture, and even scent can affect how your mind works. If you're too cold or too warm, your comfort becomes a distraction. If your chair or desk setup strains your body, your attention will drift to the discomfort. Design your space to support comfort and posture. Use a chair that supports your back. Keep your monitor at eye level. Eliminate pain points so that your full attention can stay on the task. Scent is often overlooked, but it influences mood and cognition. Certain smells like peppermint, lemon, or eucalyptus can stimulate alertness. Others, like lavender, can reduce stress. You don't need to overwhelm the space, but even a subtle scent can help signal to your brain that it's time to focus. This creates a multi-sensory cue, strengthening the association between your environment and deep work. Design your digital environment with the same care. Your desktop, browser, and apps should be organized for focus, not distraction. Close unnecessary windows. Use full screen mode. Hide your dock or toolbar if possible. Use website blockers if you tend to wander online. The more friction you place between yourself and distraction, the more likely you are to stay engaged. Build a digital space that reflects clarity and purpose. You don't need expensive tools or a perfect office. You need a space that signals to your brain, "This is where we focus." That message becomes stronger with every session. Over time, just entering your work area can put you into a state of readiness. Your environment trains your brain. Make sure it's training it in the right direction. Create a startup ritual. This is a short series of actions you perform before every focused work session. It might include adjusting your chair, turning on your light, putting on headphones, opening your notebook, and setting a timer. These repeated steps act as a mental switch. They help your brain transition from scattered to centered. The ritual doesn't need to be long, it just needs to be consistent. A similar principle applies when ending your session. Have a shutdown ritual. Close your tabs, file your notes, reflect on what you accomplished. Physically walk away from your workspace to mark the end of that mental effort. This creates separation between deep work and the rest of your day. It keeps your mind from dragging unfinished thoughts into your downtime. Be mindful of visual cues in your environment. If your space is filled with reminders of other unfinished tasks, your attention will fracture. Remove anything that signals unrelated work. Keep your workspace task-specific. If you write, keep writing tools. If you study, keep study material. When your space has a single purpose, your mind can narrow its focus without confusion. Energy flows where attention goes, and attention flows where your environment allows it to. If you constantly struggle to concentrate, it's not always a personal weakness. It's often an environmental design problem. You have more control than you think. Take full ownership of your surroundings. Craft a space that supports your highest level of attention. Review your environment often. What worked a month ago might not work now. As your goals evolve, your space should adapt. Make adjustments that reflect your current priorities. Remove what no longer serves you. Add what helps you go deeper. This ongoing refinement ensures that your environment grows with your discipline. If you want to train your mind to go deep, start by building an outer world that reflects your inner goals. The more intentionally you shape your surroundings, the more easily you will access clarity, presence, and depth. A well-designed environment doesn't just support focus, it removes the excuses and friction that delay your best work. It makes action the default, not the exception. You don't have to do this all at once. Begin by changing one thing. Clear your desk. Move your phone. Set one boundary. build from there. Every improvement creates more space for clarity. Every change builds momentum, and over time, you will find yourself entering deep work more naturally, more often, and with more power. Your environment is your silent partner in everything you do. Treat it with the same care you give your goals. Let it reflect the focus, discipline, and clarity you are committed to building within yourself. And every time you enter that space, know that you are stepping into a version of yourself who is capable of doing deep, meaningful, and lasting work. Chapter 7. Track your time honestly to gain full self-awareness. Most people have no real idea where their time goes. They assume they're productive, but the results don't reflect it. They feel busy, but they aren't moving forward. They constantly run out of hours, yet can't explain what they actually did. Time slips through their fingers in small, quiet ways, scrolling, switching, wandering, avoiding. And because there's no clear record, there's no real accountability. But if you want to develop true self-awareness and take ownership of your life, you must begin by tracking your time with complete honesty. You must see how your hours are actually spent, not how you believe they're spent. This one practice will change how you think, how you work, and how you live. Time tracking isn't about judgment or punishment. It's about clarity. When you track your time, you shine a light on your behavior. You discover patterns, you see inconsistencies, and you uncover truths that would otherwise remain hidden. It's uncomfortable at first, because it forces you to face the gap between your intention and your action. But that discomfort is where real growth begins. When you know how your time is spent, you can start to change how your energy is used. And when your energy is used with purpose, progress becomes a natural result. The first step is to start with full transparency. For the next 7 days, write down what you do every hour. Don't estimate, don't summarize, capture the truth. Whether you're working, relaxing, wasting time, or switching between tasks, write it down. Use a notebook, a digital app, or a spreadsheet. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you record every activity in real time or at regular intervals. This is not for anyone else. This is for you. You're building a mirror that reflects your habits clearly. Within a few days, you'll start to notice things you didn't expect. You'll realize how often you check your phone without thinking. You'll see how quickly a short break turns into 30 minutes. You'll notice how much time is spent in transition, shifting between tasks, preparing to work, thinking about what to do next, without doing anything. You'll become aware of how little time you spend in full focus, and that awareness is the beginning of personal accountability. Once you have several days of data, begin to categorize your time. Group activities by purpose: deep work, shallow work, rest, distraction, avoidance, learning, socializing. Be honest with yourself. Not all hours are equal. An hour spent in concentrated effort is not the same as an hour spent jumping between tabs. Treat your time with precision. Give every minute a name. When you categorize your time, you begin to see not just what you do, but what your life is truly made of. Pay close attention to the hidden costs of task switching. Every time you shift from one activity to another, your brain loses focus and energy. You may think you're multitasking, but in reality, you're fragmenting your attention. This leads to more fatigue and lower quality output. Time tracking helps you see how often this happens and gives you the information you need to create better boundaries around your tasks. You may discover that certain habits drain much more time than you believe. Maybe you thought you spent 20 minutes on social media, but you actually spent 2 hours across the day. Maybe you thought you were working for 3 hours straight, but your focus was broken by 10 different interruptions. This data isn't meant to shame you, it's meant to awaken you. Most people live on assumptions. You will live on evidence. With that evidence, you can begin to make better decisions. You can start planning your day around what actually works, not what sounds good. You can block out time for deep work based on your natural energy peaks. You can build routines that reflect your values, not your urges, but none of that is possible until you know what your current reality looks like. Tracking time makes the invisible visible, and once something is visible, it can be changed. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing how you feel. It's about knowing how you live. Your time tells the truth about your priorities. If you say something matters, but never make time for it, your behavior reveals your real commitment. When you track your time, you give yourself the chance to align your actions with your values. That alignment builds integrity, and that integrity builds a stronger, more focused mind. As your awareness grows, you will begin to see which activities create value and which ones steal it. You'll notice which parts of your day energize you and which parts drain you. You'll see which hours are your most productive and which are your most vulnerable to distraction. This insight allows you to redesign your schedule based on your strengths. Rather than forcing yourself into systems that don't fit your reality, you don't need to track time forever, but you must do it long enough to understand your patterns clearly. A few focused weeks can transform the way you think about productivity and attention. The goal is not to become a machine that works every second. The goal is to build a life that reflects conscious choices. You are taking your time back from automatic behaviors and placing it in the service of your higher purpose. This practice will require humility. You will see things you don't like. You will notice laziness, avoidance, excuses, and waste. But do not turn away. Look at it all with honesty and courage. You are not defined by your past behavior. You are shaped by what you choose to do next. When you face the truth without judgment, you create the power to change. Use this data to create a time map for your ideal day. Start with your goals and build backward. Decide how many hours you need for focused work, how much rest you require, and where your non-negotiable priorities belong. Then schedule around those pillars. Remove activities that don't serve your purpose. Reduce time spent on passive consumption. Add structure where there was drift. You are not filling time, you are directing it. Build in regular check-ins to reflect on how your time aligns with your progress. Weekly reviews are powerful tools. Ask yourself what went well, what needs improvement, and what changes are needed for the coming week. These small moments of reflection keep you from falling into old patterns. They keep your awareness sharp, and sharp awareness is the foundation of meaningful change. Over time, your relationship with time will shift. You will stop saying, "I don't have time," and start saying, "I didn't make time." You will stop blaming your schedule and start owning it. You will stop chasing productivity hacks and start building a life rooted in clarity and discipline. Your time is not something you find, it's something you make. And you make it with every choice you commit to. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have. It cannot be recovered. It cannot be replaced. But it can be respected. It can be directed. And it can be used to build a life of focus, strength, and impact. But only if you begin by seeing the truth of how it's currently used. Track your time, own your time, and step into the kind of life that only clarity can create. Chapter 8. Train your brain daily to delay short-term rewards. The ability to delay short-term rewards is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. It's not glamorous, and it rarely feels good in the moment, but it builds something that cannot be faked, real control over your own mind. When you train your brain to wait, to hold off from acting on every desire, you begin to reclaim your time, your energy, and your direction. You stop living in reaction and start living with intention. You stop being controlled by urges and start building the strength to move past them. This is not about denying pleasure or living in constant restriction. It's about building a deeper connection with your future self. Every time you choose to wait, every time you resist the need for instant gratification, you make a promise to that future version of yourself. You tell them they matter. You tell them they are worth the discomfort of now. Most people don't realize how deeply the craving for short-term rewards has shaped their behavior. They reach for their phones the moment they feel bored. They open a new tab as soon as something becomes challenging. They check for messages, snacks, updates, anything to feel a quick spark of satisfaction. These behaviors seem harmless, but they weaken the mind over time. They teach your brain that discomfort must be avoided. They train you to escape instead of endure. And once this becomes the pattern, deep work, meaningful goals, and long-term discipline all begin to fade. Training your brain to delay rewards starts with awareness. You must learn to recognize the exact moment when an urge arises. That moment is everything. If you catch it early, you can choose not to follow it. If you let it pass without acting on it, your mind learns that it does not always need to be satisfied immediately. This is how strength is built, one small decision at a time. Start by observing your impulses throughout the day. Notice what triggers them. Notice what emotion you're trying to avoid. Most urges are a response to boredom, stress, fatigue, or resistance. They are not about the reward itself. They are about escape. And if you can sit with that discomfort without running, you begin to regain your power. The key is to start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Begin with one area of your life where you often seek instant relief. It could be checking social media, eating when not hungry, watching something when you should be working, or delaying a task that makes you uncomfortable. Choose just one and create a simple rule. When the urge comes, wait 10 minutes. You're not denying yourself forever. You're simply postponing. This delay disrupts the automatic pattern. It gives you a window to observe the feeling without feeding it. And very often, you'll find the urge fades on its own. What felt urgent loses its grip, and that small victory builds your strength. As you repeat this process daily, your brain adapts. It becomes more tolerant of delayed satisfaction. It stops reacting so strongly to discomfort. It begins to value patience over impulse. This is neuroplasticity at work. You are literally reshaping your brain's reward system. Instead of chasing the next hit of dopamine, you start to seek the quiet satisfaction of progress, the deep reward of follow-through, the internal pride of doing what matters, even when it's hard. One of the best tools for this training is goal visualization. When you feel the urge to give in to a short-term reward, take a moment to visualize the long-term outcome you are working toward. Picture it clearly. Feel what it would be like to reach it. Then ask yourself, will giving in to this urge bring me closer to that vision or pull me away from it? This simple mental pause creates space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you choose growth over gratification. Make your daily training visible. Use a journal, a tracker, or a checklist to mark every time you delay an urge. Every tally is a moment of discipline. Every mark is proof that you are changing. When progress is visible, motivation stays strong, and when motivation dips, visible proof reminds you that the effort is working, even when you can't feel it yet. You are not just resisting, you are rewiring. Pair this with daily discomfort challenges. These are small, controlled tasks that stretch your tolerance for delayed pleasure. Wake up earlier than you want to. Take a cold shower. Sit still for 10 minutes without stimulation. Do a hard task first thing in the morning. Each challenge sends a message to your brain. We can handle discomfort, and we do not run from it. This builds mental resilience faster than any theory ever could. Be careful not to confuse delay with deprivation. You are not punishing yourself. You are teaching your brain to understand value. Short-term pleasure is easy, but it costs you your focus, your consistency, and your control. Long-term reward is earned, and it creates real satisfaction. The kind that doesn't fade after 5 minutes. The kind that builds self-respect. That respect grows every time you act in service of your highest priorities instead of your lowest cravings. This is not about removing all joy from life, it's about choosing the right kind of joy. One that is earned, not chased. One that supports your goals, not distracts from them. When you delay gratification, you don't become miserable, you become powerful. You stop reacting to every pull. You stop feeding every craving, and you start building a kind of inner strength that carries over into every part of life. As you progress, your entire mindset begins to shift. You stop seeing urges as enemies. You see them as opportunities to practice. Every craving becomes a chance to grow. Every delay becomes a win. This momentum compounds. Your discipline gets stronger. Your goals feel closer. Your mind becomes quieter. The noise of constant want fades, and in its place, you discover clarity. You will still slip at times. That's not failure. That's training. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to get better at noticing, pausing, and choosing with intention. Some days will feel easier. Some will feel like a battle, but every decision to wait, to breathe, to act on purpose instead of impulse is a victory. These victories build a life of focus, direction, and deep fulfillment. Eventually, delaying short-term rewards becomes less of a struggle and more of a habit. You feel the urge, acknowledge it, and continue forward. It doesn't own you anymore. You don't need to fight it. You've outgrown it. And in that maturity, you become someone who doesn't just dream of results. You earn them. This is how people achieve excellence, not by working harder, but by training smarter. They don't avoid pleasure forever. They simply choose when and how to engage with it. They understand that freedom doesn't come from indulging every feeling. It comes from having the strength to wait, to hold, to focus, and when the reward finally comes, they're ready to receive it fully, because they've earned it through patience, effort, and consistency. Every day is a chance to build that strength. Not with grand gestures, but with small choices. One urge resisted, one pause taken, one reward delayed. Stack enough of these, and you build the kind of mind that no longer needs to escape discomfort, a mind that works with intention, a life that reflects true control, and a future that is no longer built on reaction, but on purpose. Chapter 9. Limit mindless content that drains your mental energy. Every piece of content you consume shapes how you think, feel, and act. Most people underestimate the mental cost of what they allow into their minds. They assume that scrolling for a few minutes, watching a short video, or listening to background noise has no real effect. But these moments add up, not just in time, but in energy. Mindless content slowly drains your focus, weakens your attention span, and fills your head with noise that lingers far beyond the moment it's consumed. It's not just about the minutes you lose, it's about the clarity, direction, and strength that get pulled away from you without warning. The brain is constantly responding to the information it receives. When that information is shallow, chaotic, or designed to trigger emotion without substance, your mental environment becomes restless. You feel scattered without knowing why. You lose the ability to sit still, think deeply, or stay present. Mindless content rewires your brain to crave stimulation, not understanding. It builds habits of consumption over creation. And once those habits are strong, even moments of silence feel unbearable. You reach for noise without thinking. You open apps without intention. You become reactive, not reflective. To regain control over your mental energy, you must begin by becoming brutally honest about what you're consuming. Start paying attention to how you feel after watching, reading, or listening to something. Does it leave you energized, informed, or inspired? Or does it leave you numb, anxious, or distracted? The effects of mindless content are subtle at first, but once you begin to notice the patterns, the cost becomes obvious. Your peace is too valuable to waste on things that bring no return. Begin reducing input that doesn't serve you. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means being selective. It means asking yourself whether each piece of content supports the kind of life you want to build. Not all information is valuable. Not all entertainment is harmless. If something consistently makes you feel more scattered than focused, it's not neutral, it's damaging. Remove it from your routine. Unfollow accounts that stir comparison. Mute sources that trigger outrage without insight. Delete apps that serve no purpose except to keep you distracted. Replace passive consumption with conscious learning. Choose books, videos, and conversations that teach you something meaningful. Your mind becomes sharper when it engages with depth. Give it something to work with. Read about ideas that challenge you. Listen to voices that bring clarity. Fill your time with information that supports your personal growth. The more you train your brain to seek depth, the less appeal shallow content will have. You will stop craving the next quick hit of stimulation because your mind will learn to value silence, reflection, and real thinking. Be especially mindful of how you start and end your day. The first and last things you consume set the tone for your mental state. If you begin your day with endless scrolling, your brain enters reaction mode. If you end your night with random entertainment, your thoughts stay fragmented long after the screen turns off. Create boundaries around these moments. Begin your day in silence or with something that strengthens your mind. End your day by reflecting, reading, or simply resting. Protect these windows fiercely. They are when your brain is most sensitive to influence. Build regular breaks from content into your day. Step away from screens. Take walks without headphones. Sit quietly without reaching for a device. These moments feel unnatural at first because your brain is used to constant stimulation, but over time, you'll begin to feel something rare. Mental stillness. That stillness creates space for creativity, insight, and clarity. When your mind is no longer stuffed with noise, it begins to work in deeper ways. You start solving problems with ease. You feel less reactive and more intentional. You stop living in response to what's happening around you and begin acting from a place of inner clarity. It's important to remember that content is not just what you watch or read. It's also what you allow into your physical and digital space. The conversations you have, the people you follow, the background noise you tolerate, these all feed your mental energy. Audit your environment regularly. Remove anything that pulls you away from focus, purpose, and calm. Choose silence over noise. Choose fewer inputs over more. Your brain doesn't need more stimulation. It needs more space to breathe. Once you've cleared the clutter, fill your time with creation instead of consumption. Write your thoughts down. Build something with your hands. Engage in tasks that require your full attention. These activities restore energy instead of draining it. They make you feel grounded, not scattered. The more time you spend creating, the less tempted you'll be by meaningless input. You'll begin to crave depth, not distraction. And that craving will lead you to a better way of living. Start small. Limit one source of mindless content today. Replace it with something meaningful. Track how your energy shifts. Notice how much more present you feel. Then do it again tomorrow. Change doesn't need to be massive to be effective. It needs to be consistent. Every small boundary you create gives you back a piece of yourself. Every moment of clarity you choose over distraction strengthens your mind. You're not trying to escape the world. You're learning to live in it without being consumed by it. You're building the ability to stay centered in a world that thrives on pulling your attention away. This is not easy. Everything around you is designed to make mindless consumption feel normal. But you were not born to be a passive observer of life. You were made to live with focus, depth, and power. That begins by choosing what you allow into your mind. There will be moments when you slip, when the pull of easy content is too strong, when you scroll longer than you planned, or watch something that leaves you feeling hollow. That's not failure. That's part of the process. What matters is that you catch it, that you reflect on it, and that you return to your commitment. The more you do this, the faster you recover. And the faster you recover, the stronger your discipline becomes. Eventually, the habits that once drained you will lose their grip. You'll feel the difference in your energy, your focus, your creativity. You'll notice that your thoughts are clearer, your actions more aligned, your attention more under your control. This is not the result of one decision. It is the result of choosing, moment by moment, to protect your mind from noise and to fill it with what matters. Every day, you are either training your brain to crave stimulation or to seek clarity. Make the decision to choose clarity. Make the choice to feed your mind with purpose. Limit what drains you. Strengthen what builds you. And keep walking the path of focus and depth, no matter how noisy the world becomes. Chapter 10. Practice stillness each day to sharpen your attention. Stillness is not just the absence of movement, it is the presence of awareness. In a world that constantly demands your attention, learning to be still is a form of strength. It is not passive, it is not lazy, it is an active and powerful choice to step outside the noise and return to yourself. The mind is always busy, thoughts race, plans unfold, worries surface. But when you sit in stillness, you begin to see clearly what normally remains hidden. You realize how many thoughts pass without control. You notice how your focus drifts when you're not paying attention. You become a witness to the chaos inside. And from that place of honest observation, you gain the power to sharpen your attention like never before. Practicing stillness every day trains your brain to slow down. Not to stop thinking entirely, but to create distance between you and your thoughts. That distance gives you clarity. It allows you to choose what to focus on, instead of reacting to whatever appears first. Most people never train this. They live in constant reaction. Their minds move from task to task, screen to screen, without ever pausing to reset. They feel overwhelmed, but they don't realize that it's not the tasks themselves that are overwhelming, it's the constant movement between them. Stillness breaks that pattern. It teaches you how to stop, breathe, and return to what matters. When you make stillness a part of your daily routine, even for just a few minutes, you send a message to your brain that not everything needs your reaction. You don't have to solve everything right now. You don't have to respond to every thought, every message, every feeling. You can be present without doing. This presence sharpens your attention like a blade. It teaches you to hold focus without force. It builds a mental environment where clarity grows and noise fades. Sit down, close your eyes, don't try to control anything. Just be still. Feel your body. Notice your breath. Let thoughts come and go. At first, it may feel useless, boring, even uncomfortable. Your mind will scream to be busy. It will try to pull you into planning, remembering, or imagining. Let it. But don't follow. Watch it all pass like clouds in the sky. This is not about emptying your mind. It's about learning not to get swept away. That skill becomes the foundation of deep focus. You learn that thoughts are not commands. Feelings are not emergencies. You can see them without becoming them. That kind of control is what separates distraction from discipline. If you practice this stillness daily, it starts to bleed into the rest of your life. You become less reactive. You notice the urge to reach for your phone and decide not to. You feel frustration rising and choose to pause instead of exploding. You find yourself in conversation and listen fully instead of preparing your reply. These changes don't happen all at once. They grow slowly, but the source is always the same. The quiet, simple decision to be still for a moment longer than your impulses want. Stillness also creates space for insight. When the noise dies down, your mind begins to sort through the mess. Ideas connect, emotions reveal their roots. Problems shrink, you remember what you care about. You reconnect with your values. This space is essential if you want to live on purpose. A busy mind cannot see clearly. It reacts, it guesses, it rushes. But a still mind observes, it understands, it chooses. If you want to sharpen your attention, start by clearing space for it to return. You don't need a special room or perfect posture. You don't need hours, you need commitment. Even 5 minutes a day will begin to shift the way your mind works. Choose a time, morning, midday or night, and protect it. No screens, no noise, just you and your attention. If your thoughts wander, bring them back. If you forget, start again tomorrow. The point is not perfection, it's practice. Stillness is also a mirror. It shows you where your attention naturally goes. When you pause and observe your mind, you begin to notice what it gravitates toward. Is it worry? Is it planning? Is it judgment? This is valuable data. It tells you what your brain has been rehearsing. And once you see it, you can start to redirect it. You cannot sharpen what you don't first understand. Over time, you'll notice that stillness becomes less of a challenge and more of a home. A place you return to when life gets loud. It becomes your anchor, your reset button, your inner sanctuary. In moments of stress, instead of reacting immediately, you'll pause, you'll breathe, you'll remember who you are and what matters most. That pause is everything. It is where self-control lives. It is where your best decisions are made. Stillness doesn't mean inactivity. It doesn't mean giving up goals or ambition. It means creating a space where your thoughts can settle so your actions can become more aligned. It means slowing down enough to go faster in the right direction. It means stepping back so you can return with focus, precision, and strength. The world will always push you to move faster. It will tell you that rest is weakness and silence is wasted. But the truth is, attention grows in stillness. Clarity grows in stillness. And if you're serious about training your mind, building discipline, and creating a life of deep focus, you must protect time each day to sit with yourself in quiet. This practice will change how you respond to everything. It will teach you how to stay grounded in chaos, how to listen without reacting, how to work without drifting, how to live without chasing. You'll notice more. You'll need less. You'll become sharper, calmer, and more in control. Not because you forced yourself, but because you trained yourself to sit with the moment as it is. Stillness is a practice, not a performance. It doesn't require skill, just presence. You don't need to be good at it. You just need to return to it. Each time you do, you teach your brain to value focus over noise, depth over speed, intention over reaction. That kind of attention is rare in today's world, which is why it's powerful. It sets you apart. It gives you an edge that can't be faked. You may not see the effects right away. That's fine. Growth often starts invisible, but if you keep showing up day after day, breath after breath, you will change. Your mind will get quieter. Your focus will get stronger. Your distractions will lose their power, and what's left will be a version of you that can move through the world with clarity, purpose, and strength. Practice stillness daily, not as a task, but as a gift of space, a gift of peace, a gift of attention. Give it to yourself without guilt. Protect it without apology, and let that quiet time be the fuel that sharpens your thoughts, deepens your focus, and strengthens your ability to live with intention in a world that never stops moving. Chapter 11. Build mental toughness through daily discomfort practices. Building mental toughness is not about becoming unbreakable overnight, but about strengthening your resilience, one small challenge at a time. It's about deliberately putting yourself in situations that test your limits and learning to stand firm, even when discomfort tries to pull you back. The mind grows stronger when it faces adversity regularly. It's like a muscle that needs resistance to develop. If you avoid all discomfort, you remain weak, vulnerable, and reactive. But when you choose discomfort every day, you teach your brain that it can endure, adapt, and overcome. This daily training lays the foundation for unshakable mental toughness. Discomfort is unavoidable in life, but most people spend their energy trying to avoid it. They seek comfort in distraction, convenience, and instant gratification. These habits weaken mental strength because they signal to the brain that hardship is something to escape from rather than confront. The truth is that real growth happens outside of comfort zones. When you practice leaning into discomfort, you build confidence in your ability to handle difficulty. You become less afraid of failure, setbacks, or uncertainty. This mindset shift is the core of toughness. Start by choosing small discomforts that you can handle. It doesn't need to be extreme or overwhelming. Something as simple as taking a cold shower, waking up earlier than usual, or holding a difficult conversation can serve as practice. These moments might feel uncomfortable or inconvenient, but they are gifts. Each one is a chance to prove to yourself that discomfort is not permanent and that you can control your reaction to it. When you accumulate these small wins daily, your mind learns that discomfort is not a threat, it's an opportunity. The key to making this practice effective is consistency. One day of discomfort won't transform you, but daily commitment to it will. You build tolerance gradually. Each time you push through resistance, your brain rewires. You develop a stronger sense of agency. You begin to expect difficulty and prepare for it rather than fear it. This steady build-up creates a mental armor that helps you face larger challenges with greater ease. It's important to approach discomfort with intention. Don't seek pain for pain's sake. Instead, choose challenges that have meaning or purpose. For example, if your goal is better health, commit to a workout routine that challenges your stamina. If you want to build focus, practice sitting quietly when your mind urges you to move. If you aim to improve discipline, limit distractions even when it feels tempting to indulge. Intentional discomfort leads to growth. Random suffering without direction only drains you. Pay attention to how your body and mind respond to discomfort. Notice the initial resistance, the urge to quit, the thoughts that try to convince you it's too hard. Observe these reactions without judgment. Awareness is powerful because it creates space between stimulus and response. Instead of acting on impulse, you gain control over your actions. You learn to hold steady, breathe through discomfort, and keep going. That pause builds resilience. Sometimes discomfort will trigger fear or anxiety. This is normal. Mental toughness does not mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. When you face fear daily through small discomforts, it loses its power. You prove to yourself that fear is temporary and manageable. This courage builds over time, expanding your comfort zone and giving you freedom to act with confidence. Journaling your discomfort practices can accelerate growth. Write down what you did, how it felt, what thoughts came up, and how you responded. Reflect on what you learned about yourself and how you can improve. This process deepens your understanding and commitment. It transforms discomfort from a challenge to a teacher. Over weeks and months, your journal becomes a record of your progress and a source of motivation on difficult days. Avoid comparing your discomfort practices to others. Mental toughness is personal. Your challenges should match your current capacity and goals. What feels difficult for someone else might be easy for you and vice versa. The point is not competition but growth. Focus on your own journey. Celebrate every moment you choose discomfort over comfort. Each choice builds strength that no one can take away. Rest and recovery are also essential parts of building mental toughness. Pushing through discomfort without balance leads to burnout. Learn to listen to your body and mind. When rest is needed, honor it. Mental toughness means pacing yourself for long-term success, not short-term intensity. It means returning to discomfort with freshness and resolve instead of exhaustion and frustration. As mental toughness grows, you will notice shifts in your daily life. Challenges will feel less overwhelming. Stress will become manageable. You will respond to difficulties with calm rather than panic. Your confidence will increase because you know you have endured and succeeded before. This inner strength carries into every area of life: work, relationships, health, and personal goals. Discomfort practices also improve decision-making. When your mind is trained to handle difficulty, you can think more clearly under pressure. You become less reactive and more strategic. You choose actions based on long-term outcomes instead of short-term ease. This clarity leads to better choices that align with your values and aspirations. Building mental toughness is a lifelong process. It doesn't have an end point because life will always bring new challenges. What matters is the daily commitment to practice. Each time you face discomfort, you invest in a stronger version of yourself. You create a foundation of resilience that supports every goal, every dream, every hard moment ahead. The journey won't always be comfortable or easy. You will encounter resistance from within and without. People may question your choices or misunderstand your commitment. That's part of the test. Mental toughness means standing firm even when the path is lonely or unclear. It means trusting the process even when results seem distant. It means believing in your capacity to grow stronger with every challenge. Ultimately, daily discomfort practices train you not just to survive hardship, but to thrive through it. They build a mindset that sees obstacles as opportunity. They create a mental landscape where persistence and patience flourish. They help you cultivate patience with yourself and the world. And in this place of strength, you find freedom. The freedom to pursue what matters without fear or hesitation. Every day is an invitation to choose growth, to face discomfort with courage, to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you believe. These small, deliberate practices accumulate into a life marked by resilience, focus, and unshakable resolve. When discomfort becomes familiar, it loses its power over you. Instead, it becomes your ally in the journey toward becoming your best self. 12. Replace scrolling time with focused creative challenges. Scrolling through endless feeds has become a default behavior for many, a habit that steals valuable time and saps mental energy. Replacing this passive consumption with focused creative challenges transforms wasted minutes into powerful opportunities for growth. When you shift your attention from mindless scrolling to active creation, you reclaim control over your brain's dopamine system. You stop reacting to whatever pops up on your screen and start engaging in purposeful activities that develop skill, focus, and satisfaction. This transition is not about removing all leisure, but about choosing activities that feed your mind rather than drain it. The ease of scrolling offers quick, surface-level satisfaction that tricks your brain into seeking more without real reward. This pattern conditions you to crave constant stimulation without depth. Over time, it dulls your ability to concentrate and dulls your creative spark. On the other hand, creative challenges engage multiple parts of your brain simultaneously. They demand attention, problem-solving, and innovation. They trigger dopamine in a way that builds lasting satisfaction and pride rather than fleeting pleasure. By replacing scrolling with creative tasks, you reset your brain's reward system toward meaningful engagement. Start by identifying times in your day when scrolling is automatic. These moments are usually when you're bored, tired, or avoiding something challenging. Instead of reaching for your phone, prepare a small creative challenge you can do in that same time frame. This could be writing a few sentences, sketching a quick idea, brainstorming solutions to a problem, or organizing a small part of your workspace. The goal is to redirect your attention from passive consumption to active creation. Even a few minutes of focused work interrupts the scrolling habit and builds momentum for longer periods of deep focus. Choose challenges that stretch your abilities but remain achievable. If the task feels overwhelming or boring, it won't hold your attention and may drive you back to scrolling. For example, instead of trying to write a full article, set a goal to draft a paragraph. Instead of painting a detailed scene, sketch simple shapes or patterns. These small wins accumulate, they reinforce the habit of creation and give your brain a sense of accomplishment. Over time, you can increase the difficulty or duration of these challenges as your focus strengthens. Create a physical or digital space for these creative challenges. Have tools ready, a notebook, sketchpad, timer, or apps that support your goals. When you replace scrolling with deliberate preparation, you reduce friction to starting. The easier it is to begin, the more likely you are to choose creation over distraction. This setup also signals to your brain that these moments are important and worthy of attention. It shifts your mindset from default reaction to deliberate action. Track your progress to maintain motivation. Keeping a log of your creative challenges helps you see growth over time. Record what you worked on, how long you focused, and what you accomplished. Reflect on how these moments made you feel compared to scrolling. The evidence of your improvement fuels your desire to keep going. Motivation fluctuates, but consistent tracking creates a steady foundation for habit formation. Pair creative challenges with deep breathing or mindfulness techniques to sharpen focus. Before you start, take a few slow breaths to center your attention. This brief pause clears mental clutter and prepares your brain for sustained concentration. When you return to your task, you will notice increased clarity and calm. Mindfulness enhances your ability to resist distractions and stay fully present. This combination of stillness and creativity is powerful for rewiring your brain toward deep work. Expect discomfort in the beginning. The urge to scroll will feel strong because it is familiar and easy. You may feel restless or impatient during creative tasks. This is normal and temporary. Your brain is adjusting to new patterns. Remind yourself that discomfort is a sign of growth. Each moment you push through builds endurance and rewires your reward system. Soon, the pull of scrolling weakens and the satisfaction of creation becomes more rewarding. Engage your senses to deepen creative challenges. Incorporate tactile materials, natural light, or calming sounds to make the experience more immersive. The richer the sensory input, the more your brain engages. This sensory engagement supports memory formation and enhances enjoyment. When creative work feels enjoyable and stimulating, it becomes easier to choose over passive scrolling. Invite others to join your creative challenges. Sharing your goals or collaborating with a friend increases accountability and adds social reward. Conversations about your work create motivation and reinforce your commitment. Even brief check-ins or sharing progress online can create a supportive environment. Social connection amplifies the value of creative effort and makes the process more enjoyable. Be patient with yourself. Changing habits takes time and persistence. Some days you will fall back into scrolling without much effort. That's part of the process, not failure. Notice these moments without harsh judgment and return to your creative practice. Consistency over perfection builds lasting change. Your brain needs repeated practice to form new neural pathways that support deep focus and meaningful engagement. Use creative challenges as a gateway to longer periods of deep work. Starting with short tasks builds confidence and momentum. Gradually increase the duration and complexity of your work as your focus improves. This gradual progression trains your brain to sustain attention over extended time frames. Eventually, the habit of creation replaces distraction naturally. Your mind craves the satisfaction of meaningful effort rather than passive consumption. Remember that creativity is not about producing masterpieces, but about engaging actively with your thoughts and skill. Whether you write a few lines, doodle freely, or organize a desk, these actions connect you to purpose. They develop your ability to focus, solve problems, and express yourself. These are life skills that extend beyond creative tasks and improve all areas of your daily life. Replacing scrolling with creative challenges is a practical and empowering way to reclaim your time and energy. It rewires your brain's dopamine system to favor growth over distraction. It sharpens your focus and builds resilience against the pull of mindless consumption. This shift is not easy, but it is simple to start and profoundly transformative. By choosing to create rather than consume, you step into your power and take control of your mind. Every moment spent scrolling is a moment lost to distraction. Every moment spent in creation is a moment invested in growth. Make the choice to fill your days with creative challenges. Build the habit daily and watch your ability to focus and produce. Your mind will grow sharper, your work will deepen, and your life will reflect the power of intentional action. This change starts with one small step: choosing creation over scrolling today. Chapter 13. Write your goals down and review them every morning. Writing your goals down and reviewing them every morning is a simple yet transformative habit that sets the tone for your entire day. When goals remain only in your mind, they are vulnerable to distraction, doubt, and forgetfulness. But putting them on paper gives them power and clarity. It transforms vague wishes into concrete intentions. This daily act anchors your focus and aligns your energy with what truly matters. The moment you open your eyes, your written goals remind you where you want to go and why. This clarity prevents your mind from wandering into unproductive territory and helps you make decisions with purpose throughout the day. The physical act of writing activates your brain in a different way than typing or thinking alone. It engages your hand, your eyes, and your mind all at once, creating a stronger connection to your goals. This connection makes your intentions more real. When you see your goals clearly spelled out, your brain starts working to find ways to achieve them. Writing helps organize your thoughts, breaks down overwhelm, and lights a fire under your motivation. Every word you write is an investment in your future success. Reviewing your goals each morning reinforces commitment. It's easy to lose sight of what matters when distractions pile up. Your written goals act as a compass, guiding you back whenever you feel off track. This review also triggers a mental rehearsal of your desired outcomes. Your brain begins to visualize success and prime itself to take action. The more consistently you do this, the more natural it becomes to make choices aligned with your goals without hesitation. This practice turns goals from abstract ideas into daily priorities. To start, write down a manageable number of goals that resonate deeply with you. Avoid overwhelming yourself with too many aims at once. Focus on what will have the most impact on your life, growth, or happiness. These goals should be specific and meaningful, not vague or generic. Instead of get healthy, write exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Instead of be more productive, write complete my top 3 tasks by noon. Clear goals create clear direction. Each morning, read your goals aloud or silently. Feel the intention behind each one. Imagine what success will look and feel like. This step connects your mind and emotions to your goals, increasing your motivation to follow through. Resist the temptation to skim quickly or rush through this habit. Give it the attention it deserves. This small daily ritual primes your brain to stay focused and resilient, especially when challenges arise. Writing and reviewing goals also improves accountability. You become your own taskmaster, holding yourself responsible in a gentle but firm way. The act of checking in with your goals daily prevents procrastination and drift. It keeps you honest about your progress and helps you adjust your approach if needed. If a goal feels out of reach, seeing it every day reminds you to break it down into smaller steps rather than giving up. This ongoing awareness creates momentum that builds over time. Pair your goal writing with a quick plan for the day. After reviewing your main goals, identify 1 or 2 specific actions you will take that directly move you closer to them. These actions act as bridges between intention and execution. When you focus on daily progress instead of distant outcomes, motivation remains steady and manageable. This habit also reduces overwhelm by giving your day clear purpose and direction. Keep your written goals visible throughout the day. Place them somewhere you can glance at easily, on your desk, bathroom mirror, or phone background. These visual reminders keep your mind tethered to your intentions even when distractions arise. The more you expose yourself to your goals, the stronger their influence over your choices. When temptation to stray appears, your written goals provide an immediate check that helps you stay on track. Reflect on your goals weekly or monthly to track progress and make adjustments. Life changes, and goals evolve. Reviewing allows you to celebrate wins, learn from setbacks, and refine your focus. This flexibility prevents stagnation and keeps your goals aligned with your true priorities. It also reinforces that goal setting is a dynamic process, not a one-time event. Avoid vague or overly ambitious goals that lack clarity or personal meaning. Goals that don't resonate deeply fail to inspire sustained effort. Instead, connect each goal to a strong why, your deeper values, dreams, or sense of purpose. This connection fuels perseverance when motivation wanes. Remind yourself daily why each goal matters. This emotional link is the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Writing and reviewing goals also improves your time management. When you know exactly what matters, you stop wasting hours on low-value tasks. Your choices become intentional rather than reactive. You prioritize activities that produce real results. This focus reduces stress and increases satisfaction because your energy is invested in what truly moves you forward. The discipline of writing and reviewing goals strengthens your self-control. It's a form of mental training that builds clarity and resilience. Your mind learns to resist distractions and delays gratification because it keeps the bigger picture in focus. This habit is a cornerstone for lifelong success and personal growth. When you master the ability to set clear goals and return to them daily, you create a foundation for all other positive habits. Remember, the process is more important than perfection. Some days you will write and review with full attention. Other days you might rush or skip steps. That's normal. The key is to keep coming back. Every time you engage in this habit, you strengthen neural pathways related to focus, motivation, and planning. Over time, these pathways become the default mode of your mind. Your goals are not just words on paper, they are the blueprint for your future. They are a commitment to yourself and your potential. Writing them down and reviewing them every morning keeps that commitment alive. It sharpens your focus, aligns your actions, and energizes your spirit. This simple habit creates a powerful ripple effect that transforms intentions into reality and dreams into accomplishments. Start today. Take a few moments to write down what matters most. Read it first thing tomorrow morning. Notice how this practice changes your mindset and day. Commit to it daily. Through this act of clarity and intention, you will train your brain to live with purpose, resilience, and unwavering focus. Your goals will no longer be distant wishes, but the driving force behind every step you take. Chapter 14. Strengthen your discipline by keeping simple promises daily. Discipline is the backbone of achievement, but it often feels elusive because people aim too high, making promises to themselves they can't keep. Strengthening discipline starts with simple, manageable commitments you can honor every day. These small promises build trust between you and yourself. Every time you keep a promise, you reinforce your self-control and your ability to follow through. This daily practice creates momentum that expands your capacity for discipline, eventually supporting larger and more complex goals. Start by choosing promises that are easy to keep, but meaningful. For example, commit to drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, making your bed, or spending 5 minutes on a task you've been avoiding. These small actions might seem insignificant, but their power lies in consistency. When you keep a promise daily, you prove to yourself that you are reliable and capable. This belief fuels motivation and breaks the cycle of self-doubt that undermines discipline. Avoid overloading yourself with too many promises at once. Discipline grows best with focused effort. Pick 1 or 2 simple promises and make them non-negotiable. Set clear boundaries around these commitments. Treat them as if they are agreements with someone else, because in reality, they are agreements with your future self. This mindset shift transforms discipline from a chore into a form of self-respect. Recognize that discipline is a muscle that strengthens with use. The more you practice keeping promises, the easier it becomes. Early in this process, you might struggle with temptation or distractions. You may want to skip your commitment or rationalize breaking your promise. These moments are tests. How you respond defines your level of discipline. Choosing to keep your promise despite discomfort or inconvenience grows resilience. Track your progress to reinforce your efforts. Use a journal, checklist, or app to record when you keep your promises. Seeing a visual record of your consistency creates a sense of accomplishment. It also helps identify patterns or obstacles that need adjustment. This feedback loop supports sustained growth and helps you celebrate small victories that might otherwise go unnoticed. Be mindful of your self-talk when you struggle to keep a promise. Avoid harsh judgment or negative labels like lazy or undisciplined. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and curiosity. Ask what got in the way and how you can improve tomorrow. Discipline thrives in an environment of patience and learning, not punishment. This compassionate approach encourages persistence rather than defeat. Link your simple promises to your larger goals and values. Understand how these small actions contribute to your vision for your life. This connection provides deeper motivation and meaning. When you see your discipline as a pathway to what you truly desire, keeping promises becomes a step toward fulfillment rather than obligation. Create a supportive environment that reduces friction to keeping your promises. Prepare your space and tools in advance. For example, if your promise is to write daily, have your notebook or computer ready. If it is to exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Removing barriers makes it easier to act on your commitments, and less likely you will skip them. Use accountability to strengthen discipline. Share your promises with a trusted friend or mentor who can check in regularly. External support adds pressure and encouragement. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitment increases the likelihood you will follow through. Accountability turns private promises into public commitments that carry more weight. Celebrate each success, no matter how small. Rewarding yourself reinforces positive behavior. The reward doesn't need to be elaborate, simply acknowledging your effort builds confidence. Recognizing progress sustains motivation and encourages you to keep building your discipline habit. Be prepared for setbacks and have a plan to recover quickly. Discipline is not about perfection, but persistence. Missing a promise occasionally is normal and expected. What matters is how you respond afterward. Instead of giving up, analyze what caused the slip and recommit with renewed focus. This resilience to setbacks distinguishes those who succeed from those who quit. Over time, these simple promises become automatic habits. Discipline transforms from an effortful act into a natural part of your routine. Your brain learns that following through is expected, and resistance diminishes. This automaticity frees mental energy for more complex challenges and deep work. Understand that strengthening discipline by keeping promises daily builds integrity. Integrity means aligning your actions with your word. When you consistently do what you say you will, your self-trust grows. This trust is the foundation for all personal growth. It empowers you to face bigger challenges, make difficult decisions, and pursue long-term goals without wavering. Reflect regularly on the impact of keeping your promises. Notice changes in your confidence, focus, and productivity. Observe how your ability to handle challenges improves. These reflections deepen your appreciation for discipline and inspire continued effort. They remind you that discipline is a gift you give yourself, one that pays dividends in every area of life. Discipline through daily promises also cultivates patience. Progress is often slow and subtle. The cumulative effect of small, consistent actions builds momentum that eventually leads to breakthrough. Trust this process. Avoid the trap of impatience or seeking quick fixes. Real discipline is built over time through steady commitment. As you grow more disciplined, extend your promises gradually. Challenge yourself with slightly harder commitments that push your boundaries. This progression ensures continual growth and prevents stagnation. Each new promise stretches your capacity and confidence, making you stronger and more resilient. Keep in mind that discipline is a skill, not a fixed trait. Everyone can develop it regardless of past habits or current challenges. The key is starting where you are with what you can manage. The cumulative effect of small daily promises creates lasting transformation. You become a person who follows through, achieves goals, and commands respect from yourself and others. Embrace the power of simplicity in building discipline. Complex systems or drastic changes often fail because they overwhelm and discourage. Simple promises are sustainable, practical, and accessible. They build a solid foundation for all other habits and behaviors. Discipline cultivated this way is flexible and enduring. Strengthening discipline through daily promises reshapes your identity. You start seeing yourself as reliable, focused, and determined. This identity shift influences your decisions, actions, and relationships. It creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces your best qualities. You no longer need to rely on willpower alone, because discipline becomes part of who you are. Keep in mind that the journey to stronger discipline is ongoing. Life circumstances change, and new challenges arise. Staying committed to daily promises keeps you adaptable and prepared. Discipline becomes a tool that supports you through uncertainty, stress, and change. It empowers you to maintain control over your choices regardless of external conditions. Ultimately, the practice of keeping simple promises daily is a profound act of self-love and respect. It honors your potential and your commitment to growth. Each promise kept strengthens the foundation on which your future success is built. This daily discipline transforms intention into action, dreams into reality, and ordinary moments into steps toward a meaningful life. Chapter 15. Detach from stimulation to reconnect with your true self. In the constant buzz of modern life, relentless stimulation pulls us in every direction, drowning out the quiet voice of our true self. This endless influx of noise, from screens, notifications, conversations, and endless distractions, creates a fog that makes it difficult to recognize who we really are beneath all the external input. To reconnect with our authentic selves, it's essential to deliberately detach from stimulation. This detachment is not about rejecting the toe, but about creating space to listen deeply to our inner truth. When we reduce the constant barrage of distractions, clarity returns. We begin to feel grounded, centered, and aligned with our core values and desires. Detaching from stimulation requires intention and courage, because our brains have become accustomed to constant input. The urge to check phones, switch tabs, or seek entertainment is strong. This habitual response to stimulation short-circuits our ability to reflect, create, and be present. By stepping away from this cycle, even briefly, we reclaim our mental and emotional freedom. This freedom allows us to observe ourselves without judgment and understand what truly matters beyond the surface noise. The first step in detachment is recognizing the difference between healthy engagement and excessive stimulation. Healthy engagement nourishes your mind and soul. It challenges you, inspires curiosity, and promotes growth. Excessive stimulation, on the other hand, overloads your senses and fragments your attention. It leaves you feeling scattered, restless, and disconnected. Becoming aware of this distinction helps you make conscious choices about what to invite into your life and what to release. Create intentional periods of disconnection each day. Start small by setting aside just 10 or 15 minutes where you turn off all devices and remove yourself from noisy environments. Use this time to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and simply be with yourself. Notice the thoughts that arise without reacting to them. This practice cultivates presence and self-awareness. Over time, these moments expand and become natural parts of your daily routine. During these periods of stillness, turn your attention inward. Ask yourself honest questions. What do I really want? What feelings am I avoiding? What parts of myself have been buried beneath distraction? Allow answers to come without pressure or expectation. This inward inquiry reconnects you to your values, passions, and deeper purpose. It also reveals patterns or beliefs that no longer serve you and can be gently released. Detachment from stimulation also means learning to tolerate silence and boredom. These states can feel uncomfortable because they expose us to raw experience without distraction. Instead of fleeing boredom with a quick fix, lean into it. Notice the sensations in your body and the landscape of your mind. Boredom is often a signal that your brain is craving meaningful engagement rather than surface-level input. By welcoming boredom, you open a door to creativity, insight, and peace. Limit exposure to digital media and social platforms that constantly demand your attention. Use tools like app timers, do not disturb modes, or scheduled breaks to regulate your consumption. When you control how and when you engage with digital content, you reduce mental clutter. This control is empowering and restores focus. It also prevents the addictive feedback loop that drains your energy and disconnects you from yourself. Physical environment plays a role in detaching from stimulation. Design spaces that support calm and reflection. Remove unnecessary gadgets, reduce noise, and incorporate natural elements like plants or sunlight. A serene environment invites you to slow down and listen deeply. It reminds your brain that it's safe to relax and tune inwards, rather than constantly scanning for new input. Reconnecting with your true self also involves reconnecting with your body. Movement practices such as walking, stretching, or yoga help ground you in the present moment. When your body feels alive and connected, your mind follows. Sensory experiences like feeling the ground under your feet or the air on your skin bring attention back from distraction to reality. Physical awareness is a powerful anchor in the journey of detachment and self-rediscovery. practice mindful breathing as a tool to detach from overstimulation instantly. Whenever you feel overwhelmed or scattered, pause and take slow, deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of air filling and leaving your lungs. This simple act calms the nervous system and centers your mind. It interrupts reactive patterns and creates space for intentional presence. Mindful breathing reconnects you to yourself, no matter where you are or what you are doing. Journaling is another effective way to deepen your connection with your true self. Write without censoring or structuring your thoughts. Allow feelings, ideas, and reflections to flow freely. This practice provides insight into your inner landscape and uncovers hidden desires or fears. Journaling removes mental noise by externalizing it onto paper, making room for clarity and understanding. Detaching from stimulation also requires compassion. You may experience restlessness, discomfort, or resistance. These reactions are normal because your brain is adjusting to a new way of being. Instead of judging yourself, acknowledge the challenge and treat yourself kindly. Celebrate small victories in your journey towards stillness and connection. Every moment spent away from distraction is a step closer to your authentic self. Relationships benefit from your ability to detach from constant stimulation as well. When you are present and grounded, your interactions become more meaningful and genuine. You listen more deeply and respond with clarity rather than reaction. This presence nurtures trust and intimacy. By modeling detachment and self-awareness, you invite others to experience the same calm and authenticity. Remember that detachment is a practice, not a destination. Life will always bring moments of noise and distraction. The goal is not to eliminate stimulation completely, but to manage it wisely. Build a daily rhythm that balances engagement with rest, input with reflection. This rhythm protects your mental space and honors your true self. As you detach from external stimulation, you discover a wellspring of inner resources, peace, wisdom, creativity, and resilience. These qualities are always within you, but often hidden beneath the clutter of constant input. Detachment uncovers these treasures and invites them to guide your life. You become less reactive to external chaos and more responsive to your inner guidance. The process of detachment sharpens your attention and strengthens your ability to focus deeply. When the brain is not constantly pulled by stimulation, it can dive into sustained concentration and flow. This capacity for deep work enhances productivity, creativity, and satisfaction. It also fosters a richer experience of life beyond the screen and noise. By choosing to step back from stimulation, you reclaim your autonomy. You decide where your attention goes and what influences you allow. This empowerment leads to greater clarity in decision-making and alignment with your values. You become the architect of your mental landscape rather than a passive passenger. Detaching from stimulation is ultimately an act of self-care and self-respect. It honors your need for depth, meaning, and authenticity. It creates the conditions for personal growth and emotional balance. This deliberate withdrawal from distraction opens the door to a fuller, richer experience of who you are and what you are capable of becoming. Commit to this practice daily, knowing that each moment spent in stillness is a gift to your true self. Over time, detachment becomes easier and more natural. The noise loses its grip and your inner voice grows louder. You step into your life with clarity, calm, and confidence. Your connection to yourself becomes the foundation for lasting peace and purposeful action. Chapter 16. Protect your mornings from shallow digital input. The way you start your morning sets the tone for the entire day. Protecting your mornings from shallow digital input is crucial because the first moments after waking are when your brain is most impressionable. When you immediately dive into social media, news feeds, or random notifications, you surrender control of your focus to external noise that rarely benefits your well-being or productivity. This early exposure to scattered, superficial content trains your brain to crave distractions instead of clarity, making it harder to concentrate on meaningful work or personal growth throughout the day. Begin by creating a morning routine that deliberately excludes digital devices for at least the first 30 minutes after waking. Resist the urge to check your phone or computer right away. Instead, spend this time engaging in activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. This might include stretching, journaling, meditation, reading something inspiring, or simply sitting in silence. These intentional actions ground you and help build mental resilience against the distractions that come later. Replacing digital consumption with mindful morning habits strengthens your brain's ability to focus deeply. When you start your day with calm and purpose, you set a precedent for how you will handle challenges and interruptions. Your brain begins to associate mornings with clarity and presence, which creates a powerful ripple effect throughout your day. Over time, this consistent practice rewires your habits so that you naturally seek meaningful input instead of shallow distraction. Control over your morning environment supports this protection. Charge your devices outside the bedroom or at least out of reach so you are not tempted to grab them first thing. Use an old-fashioned alarm clock if necessary to avoid the habit of checking your phone. Establish a physical space in your home that invites calmness and reflection in the morning. Clear clutter, open windows for fresh air, and incorporate natural light. This environment signals to your brain that the morning is a time for preparation and focus, not passive consumption. Turn off notifications or activate Do Not Disturb mode on all your devices overnight and during your protected morning time. Notifications are interruptions that trigger impulsive checking behavior. Even the anticipation of a notification can drain your mental energy before the day truly begins. By silencing these alerts, you reclaim your attention and prevent external stimuli from hijacking your morning. Plan your digital interactions deliberately later in the day. Schedule specific times to check emails, social media, or news rather than allowing these activities to dictate your time. When you organize digital engagement into controlled windows, you reduce the cognitive cost of constant switching between tasks and distraction. This discipline preserves your mental energy for deep work and meaningful connection. During your no-device morning routine, focus on activities that inspire creativity and intentionality. Writing down your goals or intentions for the day, reflecting on what you are grateful for, or visualizing your ideal outcomes can all prepare your mind for success. These practices cultivate a mindset of growth and resilience, setting a strong foundation for handling digital input wisely later on. Recognize the addictive nature of shallow digital content. Many apps and platforms are designed to capture and hold your attention through endless scrolling, notifications, and instant reward. When you allow this stimulation first thing in the morning, your brain's dopamine system is primed for quick gratification, making it harder to resist distractions throughout the day. Protecting your mornings disrupts this cycle and helps reset your brain's reward system. It's important to practice self-compassion as you implement this change. Breaking the habit of morning device use can be challenging because it often serves as a comfort or automatic reaction. When you catch yourself reaching for your phone, acknowledge it without judgment and gently redirect your attention to your chosen morning practice. Each moment of redirection strengthens your self-control and builds new neural pathways that support focused attention. Consider sharing your intention to protect your mornings with those around you. Explaining your practice to family or housemates creates understanding and support. They can help by respecting your morning routine and avoiding interruptions. This social reinforcement makes it easier to maintain your commitment, especially during difficult moments. Protecting your mornings from shallow digital input also improves your emotional health. Early exposure to negative news, social comparisons, or overwhelming information can trigger anxiety, stress, and a scattered mind. By choosing to start your day with calm and meaningful activities, you reduce these harmful emotional impacts and create a positive psychological state. This emotional balance supports better decision-making and resilience in the face of daily challenges. Evaluate your progress regularly and adjust your routine as needed. Notice how mornings without immediate digital input affect your mood, energy, and productivity. Use these observations to motivate yourself to maintain or deepen your practice. If needed, gradually increase the time you spend away from screens in the morning. This flexibility ensures your routine remains sustainable and effective. Understand that protecting your mornings is not about rejecting technology, but about mastering it. Technology can be a powerful tool when used intentionally. Setting boundaries around when and how you engage with it is an act of self-mastery that preserves your mental clarity and focus. This discipline in the morning serves as a model for managing digital distractions throughout the rest of your day. Eventually, you will notice a shift in how you relate to your devices. They become tools that serve your goals rather than sources of endless distraction. Your mornings become a sacred time that prepares you mentally, emotionally, and physically for the demands ahead. This practice enhances your ability to engage deeply with work, relationships, and personal growth opportunities. By protecting your mornings from shallow digital input, you reclaim your agency over your time and attention. You begin each day with intention rather than reaction. This shift has the power to transform your productivity, creativity, and overall sense of well-being. It cultivates a strong foundation for lifelong focus and resilience in a world filled with distractions. Embrace the discipline of a device-free morning as a commitment to your highest self. This simple yet powerful habit invites calm, clarity, and purposeful action into your life. It honors your need for mental space and intentional focus. Through this daily protection, you cultivate a mindset that values depth over distraction and presence over impulsivity. Start today by identifying one small change to reduce digital input in your morning routine. Maybe it's moving your phone away from your bed, setting a timer before you check devices, or beginning the day with a mindful breath. Take that first step and build from there. Each morning you protect shapes a stronger, clearer, and more focused version of yourself. Your mornings are your foundation. Guard them fiercely. With this protection in place, you prepare yourself to face the day with energy, intention, and unwavering focus. This daily practice is a cornerstone in training your brain for deep work and meaningful success. Chapter 17. Build daily wins that prove your control to yourself. Every day presents countless opportunities to assert control over your habits, thoughts, and choices. Building daily wins is about intentionally identifying small, achievable actions that reinforce your ability to direct your life, rather than be driven by impulse or external circumstances. These wins are evidence to yourself that you hold the reins and can shape your reality through consistent, deliberate effort. Each victory, no matter how minor it seems, accumulates and creates a foundation of self-trust and confidence that fuels larger achievements. Start by recognizing that control is not about perfection but about persistence. No one is flawless and setbacks are natural. What matters is the decision to act intentionally in the present moment. Each successful choice you make is a win. It might be as simple as resisting the urge to check your phone during focused work or completing a task you've been procrastinating on. These small victories remind you that your willpower can be strengthened through practice. Setting achievable goals each day is key to building daily wins. When goals are realistic and clearly defined, you create a roadmap for success. Break larger objectives into manageable steps and commit to completing at least one or two of these daily. The completion of these steps builds momentum and demonstrates your capacity for control. Avoid setting overwhelming goals that lead to frustration or burnout. Small, consistent progress is more powerful than sporadic bursts of effort. Celebrate each win with genuine acknowledgement. This doesn't mean indulging in excessive praise or distraction, but taking a moment to recognize your effort and achievement. This recognition releases positive feelings that reinforce your behavior and encourage repetition. Over time, this cycle of action and reward rewires your brain to seek fulfillment from self-discipline rather than external gratification. Track your wins to create visible evidence of your progress. Use a journal, checklist, or digital tool to record daily accomplishment. This practice provides a clear record of growth and helps maintain motivation during challenging times. When doubts arise, reviewing your list of wins reminds you of your capability and resilience. This documentation also highlights patterns of success and areas for improvement. Develop rituals that support your ability to generate daily wins. Rituals are repeated actions that prepare your mind and body for success. For example, a morning routine that includes reviewing your goals or a brief meditation session can center your focus and set a positive tone. Rituals reduce decision fatigue and create a stable framework within which wins become easier to achieve consistently. Learn to embrace discomfort as part of building control. Many opportunities to prove your discipline come disguised as challenges or resistance. Choosing to act despite discomfort strengthens mental toughness and expands your limits. Each time you face a difficult moment and come out successful, you prove to yourself that you can endure and thrive under pressure. Avoid the trap of seeking instant gratification by postponing rewards until after you complete meaningful actions. This delay trains your brain to value effort and patience. For example, allow yourself a small treat only after finishing a focused work session or exercise routine. These delayed rewards increase the sense of accomplishment and reinforce self-control. Surround yourself with reminders of your commitment to daily wins. Visual cues, such as notes, affirmations, or goal lists can keep you focused and motivated. When temptation or distraction arises, these reminders anchor you to your purpose and inspire you to persevere. External support structures play an important role in sustaining discipline. Recognize that building control through daily wins impacts all areas of life. Improved self-mastery enhances decision-making, emotional regulation, and relationships. The confidence gained spills over into new challenges, creating a virtuous cycle of growth. Each win compounds and deepens your sense of personal power and autonomy. When setbacks occur, view them as learning opportunities rather than failures. Analyze what led to the lapse and adjust your approach without harsh self-judgment. This mindset fosters resilience and prevents discouragement. The ability to bounce back quickly is a hallmark of those who master self-control and achieve lasting success. Practice mindfulness to increase awareness of your impulses and reactions. By observing thoughts and feelings without immediate action, you create a space to choose your response consciously. This awareness is critical to interrupting automatic behaviors that undermine control. Mindfulness strengthens your ability to act with intention and build consistent wins. Use accountability to reinforce your commitment. Share your daily goals and progress with a trusted friend, mentor, or community. External support encourages responsibility and provides encouragement during difficult periods. Knowing others are invested in your success can motivate you to maintain focus and discipline. Adapt your strategies as you learn what works best for you. Building control is a dynamic process requiring flexibility and experimentation. Some tactics may be more effective than others depending on your personality and circumstances. Stay open to change and continuously refine your approach to maximize your daily wins. Visualize the person you want to become, disciplined, focused, and in control. Use this vision to inspire your daily efforts and maintain long-term commitment. Seeing yourself as capable and powerful fuels motivation and guides your choices toward consistent success. Visualization connects your present actions to future identity. Understand that building daily wins is an investment in your future self. Every effort you make today compounds over time, leading to exponential growth. Discipline cultivated through consistent small victories creates a life aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. This steady progress lays the groundwork for remarkable achievements. Celebrate progress without waiting for perfection. Acknowledge that growth happens in stages and that persistence matters more than speed. This attitude nurtures patience and reduces frustration, allowing you to maintain enthusiasm for your journey. Each step forward, however small, is a meaningful win. Challenge yourself periodically, raise the bar on what constitutes a daily win. As your control strengthens, expand your goals to include more demanding tasks or new areas of growth. This continuous challenge keeps you engaged and prevents complacency. Stretching your limits builds greater resilience and capacity. Recognize the connection between physical health and self-control. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest support brain function and willpower. Taking care of your body strengthens your ability to sustain discipline and perform deep work. Integrate health-promoting habits to enhance your overall control. Maintain a positive mindset focused on possibility and growth. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones that reinforce your capacity for self-mastery. The stories you tell yourself shape your reality, so cultivate narratives that inspire perseverance and confidence. This mental framework supports ongoing success. Ultimately, building daily wins is about proving to yourself that you are the author of your life. It shifts your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. With each win, you reclaim ownership of your actions, choices, and destiny. This process cultivates freedom, fulfillment, and lasting transformation. Chapter 18. Use boredom as a tool to build deep focus. Boredom is often seen as a negative state to be avoided at all costs, but it holds immense potential as a powerful tool for building deep focus. When the mind feels bored, it's actually signaling a hunger for meaningful engagement rather than superficial distraction. Learning to embrace boredom instead of fleeing it unlocks the ability to sustain attention and dive deeply into important work or reflection. This shift transforms boredom from a frustrating experience into a valuable opportunity for growth. In a world designed to constantly entertain and distract, boredom has become unfamiliar and uncomfortable. The instant gratification of screens, notifications, and endless content offers an easy escape. When boredom arrives, the natural impulse is to seek immediate relief. This habitual avoidance prevents the brain from developing patience and the capacity to engage fully with tasks that require prolonged focus. Understanding boredom as a necessary stage in the process of concentration helps reframe this discomfort as a step toward mastery. Training the brain to tolerate boredom begins with intentionally creating moments of stillness or low stimulation during your day. This can be as simple as sitting quietly without a phone, waiting in line without distractions, or deliberately choosing activities that don't offer instant rewards. These moments build resilience and teach the mind that it doesn't need constant entertainment to feel content. The ability to sit with boredom without reactive behaviors is foundational to cultivating deep focus. Recognizing the sensations of boredom without judgment is crucial. Notice the physical feelings, restlessness, impatience, or mental wanderings, without labeling them as bad or wrong. Observing boredom with curiosity rather than resistance opens space for the mind to settle naturally. This mindful awareness interrupts the automatic cycle of distraction and allows focus to deepen gradually. Over time, the discomfort associated with boredom diminishes, replaced by calm engagement. Boredom also serves as a gateway to creativity. When the mind is not overwhelmed by constant input, it begins to generate new ideas, connections, and solutions. Many creative breakthroughs occur during periods of quiet reflection or seemingly unproductive time. By embracing boredom, you create fertile ground for insight and innovation. This process strengthens your ability to engage deeply with complex problems and tasks. Transforming boredom into a tool for focus requires deliberate practice. Start by setting aside specific times each day to experience boredom without distraction. Use these intervals to observe your thoughts, breathe deeply, and remain present. Gradually increase the duration as your tolerance grows. This practice conditions your brain to resist the urge for immediate stimulation and builds endurance for sustained attention. When boredom arises during work or study, resist the temptation to switch tasks or seek distractions. Instead, recognize it as a natural phase of the cognitive process. Use techniques such as focused breathing or gentle refocusing to maintain attention. Understand that boredom often signals the brain is transitioning between phases of deep processing. Staying with this sensation supports the development of flow states, where productivity and creativity. Create environments that minimize external stimulation to support boredom tolerance and focus. Designate quiet spaces free from unnecessary noise, visual clutter, and digital interruptions. These settings encourage the mind to slow down and engage fully with the task at hand. A controlled environment reduces the likelihood of impulsive escapes into shallow distractions. Set realistic expectations about boredom and focus. Building these capacities takes time and patience. Avoid frustration when your mind wanders or when boredom feels intense. Instead, view these challenges as part of the learning process. Celebrate progress in your ability to remain present and attentive despite discomfort. This mindset nurtures perseverance and self-compassion. Incorporate movement and sensory grounding practices when boredom feels overwhelming. Brief walks, stretching, or focusing on tactile sensations can help regulate the nervous system and support sustained attention. These physical anchors provide relief without resorting to digital or superficial distractions. Integrating body awareness enhances your capacity to remain focused during boring moments. Use boredom as a signal to reconnect with your purpose and goals. When the urge to escape boredom arises, remind yourself why deep focus matters to you. Anchor your attention in the meaningful outcomes you are working toward. This connection provides motivation to endure discomfort and resist distraction. Purpose acts as a compass that guides your focus through boredom. Limit your exposure to high stimulation content outside of focused work periods. Reducing the overall level of sensory input strengthens your brain's ability to tolerate boredom and sustain attention. Constantly flooding your senses with fast-paced entertainment trains your brain to seek only immediate gratification. Deliberate reduction of stimulation rebuilds capacity for slow, deep thinking. Reflect regularly on your experiences with boredom and focus. Journal about what you notice, how your mind responds, and any insights gained. This reflection deepens awareness and reinforces learning. Writing about your practice turns abstract experiences into concrete understanding that supports continued growth. Encourage a mindset that values process over instant results. Deep focus and productive work often unfold gradually and require patience. Boredom is part of this process, not a sign of failure or lack of interest. Embracing the journey and accepting discomfort as a teacher fosters long-term success and satisfaction. Surround yourself with reminders of your commitment to harness boredom for growth. Visual cues or affirmations can prompt you to choose presence over distraction when boredom strikes. These supports strengthen your resolve and help maintain consistent practice. External reminders are powerful allies in building new habits. Understand that boredom is a natural and necessary condition for developing mental strength. Avoiding it leaves you vulnerable to distraction and shallow engagement. Facing boredom courageously expands your capacity for concentration and deep work. This courage translates into greater resilience in all areas of life. Apply your ability to use boredom constructively in social situations as well. Waiting, listening, or moments of quiet can feel uncomfortable but also offer opportunities for reflection and presence. Cultivating comfort with stillness enhances your interpersonal awareness and emotional regulation. Recognize the long-term benefits of mastering boredom. Increased focus leads to higher quality work, deeper learning, and more fulfilling experiences. Your brain becomes less reactive and more intentional. This transformation supports success and well-being in a distracting world. Practice gratitude for boredom as a teacher. Although initially unwelcome, it reveals important truths about your habits, desires, and attention. Viewing boredom as a guide rather than an enemy changes your relationship with it fundamentally. This gratitude fosters openness and curiosity. Commit to daily moments of boredom as a discipline that trains your brain for deep focus. This commitment is an investment in your mental clarity and creative power. With regular practice, boredom shifts from a source of frustration to a tool of transformation. Through embracing boredom, you reclaim your attention and redirect it toward meaningful engagement. You move from reactive distraction to deliberate focus. This shift empowers you to accomplish more, feel more present, and experience life more fully. Boredom, once resisted, becomes a powerful ally on your journey of growth. Chapter 19. Track your dopamine triggers and reduce their power. Becoming aware of what triggers dopamine release is essential for gaining control over your impulses and habits. Dopamine is the brain's chemical messenger that motivates reward-seeking behavior, but when its triggers are unchecked, they can hijack your focus and energy. Tracking these triggers brings hidden patterns into the light, allowing you to understand how often and why you seek quick bursts of pleasure or distraction. This awareness is the first powerful step toward reducing their hold and reclaiming your mental clarity. Begin by observing your daily routines and interactions with your environment. Notice the moments when you feel an intense urge to check your phone, snack mindlessly, scroll social media, or seek any quick fix that sparks a fleeting dopamine hit. These urges are not random, but often linked to specific contexts, emotions, or times of day. Writing down these instances helps you identify common themes, such as boredom, stress, or certain locations that prompt impulsive behavior. Keep a dedicated journal or digital log for a week or more to record your dopamine triggers. Note the exact activity, time, emotional state, and environment when the urge arises. This record will reveal patterns that are difficult to detect in the flow of daily life. For example, you might discover that you reach for your phone during breaks or when feeling anxious. Recognizing these triggers enables you to anticipate and prepare for them. Understand that not all dopamine triggers are harmful. Some encourage productive behavior and motivation. The key is differentiating between triggers that support your goals and those that detract from them. High-impact distractions like endless notifications or compulsive snacking pull you away from deep work, while constructive triggers, such as rewarding yourself after focused effort, enhance productivity. Tracking helps clarify which triggers to minimize and which to nurture. Once you identify your primary dopamine triggers, develop strategies to reduce their influence. This might include physical changes like moving your phone out of reach during work sessions or uninstalling addictive apps. Altering your environment to remove or limit access to common triggers reduces the frequency of impulsive behavior. These changes require discipline but create a buffer that weakens the automatic response to stimuli. Create friction for your dopamine-driven impulses by inserting small obstacles before you act. For example, require yourself to wait 5 minutes before checking social media or eating a snack. This delay disrupts the immediate gratification loop and gives your rational mind time to assess whether the action aligns with your goals. Over time, this practice strengthens self-control and diminishes the power of triggers. Use mindfulness techniques to observe your urges without reacting automatically. When a dopamine trigger appears, pause and examine the sensation without judgment. Acknowledge the urge and its cause, Then choose a response conscious. This awareness interrupts habitual reactions and fosters intentional decision-making. Mindfulness also reduces the emotional intensity that often accompanies cravings, making them easier to manage. Replace harmful dopamine triggers with healthier alternatives that satisfy the brain's need for reward without undermining focus. For instance, substitute social media scrolling with a brief walk, stretching, or a few deep breaths. These activities provide mild dopamine release, but support well-being and attention. Developing a repertoire of positive responses to triggers reduces reliance on destructive habits. Set clear boundaries around technology use, especially in environments where your triggers are strong. Designate specific times for checking emails or social media, and stick to these windows strictly. This scheduled approach prevents scattered attention and lowers the chance of falling into impulsive dopamine-seeking behaviors. Consistent boundaries train your brain to expect stimulation only at appropriate times. Leverage the power of accountability by sharing your tracking efforts with a trusted friend or mentor. Reporting your progress and challenges increases motivation to stay committed. External support can provide encouragement and practical advice for managing triggers. Knowing someone else is aware of your goals strengthens your resolve. Regularly review your dopamine trigger log to evaluate progress and identify new patterns. As you reduce the power of some triggers, others may emerge. Ongoing monitoring ensures you remain vigilant and proactive. This process promotes continuous growth and adaptation in managing impulses. Develop a reward system that aligns dopamine release with constructive habits. For example, allow yourself a small treat only after completing a focused work session. Linking rewards to achievement reinforces positive behavior and retrains the brain's reward pathways. This alignment transforms dopamine from a distraction into a motivational tool. Practice patience and persistence when working to reduce dopamine trigger power. Changing ingrained habits takes time, and setbacks are natural. View challenges as opportunities to learn rather than failures. Maintaining a growth mindset supports resilience and long-term success. Educate yourself about the neuroscience of dopamine to deepen your understanding of why triggers affect you. Knowledge about the brain's reward system empowers you to approach behavior change with confidence and compassion. This insight reduces frustration and increases strategic thinking in managing triggers. Experiment with different coping strategies to find what works best for your unique patterns and lifestyle. Flexibility and creativity in addressing dopamine triggers keep your approach effective and engaging. Avoid rigid rules that lead to discouragement. Adapt as needed. Balance periods of low stimulation with intentional rewards that satisfy the brain's craving for dopamine. This balance prevents deprivation and burnout while maintaining control. Recognizing the need for pleasure as part of human nature allows you to meet it healthily. Incorporate physical activity into your routine to regulate dopamine and support mental clarity. Exercise naturally modulates brain chemistry, reducing cravings and enhancing mood. Regular movement strengthens your overall ability to manage impulses. Reflect on the deeper reasons behind your dopamine-seeking behaviors. Emotional needs such as stress relief, boredom avoidance, or social connection often underlie these impulses. Addressing root causes improves your capacity to manage triggers effectively. Understand that tracking and reducing dopamine triggers is a lifelong practice that evolves with your growth. Maintaining awareness and adapting strategies ensures sustained focus and well-being. This commitment fosters mastery over your attention and choices. Celebrate milestones in your progress to reinforce motivation. Acknowledge improvements in your ability to resist impulses and maintain focus. Positive reinforcement fuels continued effort and confidence. By tracking your dopamine triggers and consciously reducing their power, you reclaim control over your mind and actions. This process transforms reactive habits into deliberate choices. You build a foundation of self-discipline and clarity that supports deep work and meaningful success. Chapter 20. Master your urges by choosing presence over pleasure. Urges often arrive unexpectedly, pulling attention away from what truly matters. Mastering these impulses is not about suppressing or ignoring them, but about consciously choosing presence in the moment instead of immediate pleasure. Presence means being fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and environment without reacting reflexively to cravings. This mindful choice strengthens control and creates space for intentional action, laying the groundwork for lasting change. The first step in mastering urges is recognizing their nature. Urges are temporary sensations, often intense but fleeting. They arise from deep biological wiring designed to seek reward quickly. Understanding that urges do not define you and will pass helps diminish their power. Awareness that these feelings are transient reduces anxiety and equips you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Cultivating presence requires practicing mindfulness regularly. Mindfulness is the skill of observing experiences, moment by moment, without judgment or attachment. When an urge appears, instead of immediately acting on it, pause to notice its qualities, its intensity, location in the body, and emotional tone. This non-reactive observation interrupts automatic responses and empowers you to choose your next step consciously. Presence also involves accepting urges without resistance. Fighting or denying cravings often increases their strength and duration. Allowing yourself to feel the urge fully without acting on it creates a paradoxical effect where the craving naturally diminishes. This acceptance fosters a calm inner space where clarity and self-control flourish. Developing this ability takes patience and consistent practice. Start by dedicating a few minutes each day to mindfulness exercises, such as focusing on your breath or body sensations. These practices build neural pathways that support present moment awareness. Over time, this foundation allows you to meet urges with calm observation instead of reflexive reaction. When an urge tempts you toward immediate pleasure, remind yourself of your deeper values and long-term goals. Linking your present choice to what you truly want cultivates motivation to resist short-term gratification. This connection anchors you in presence by orienting your mind toward meaningful outcomes instead of fleeting rewards. Create mental cues or affirmations to reinforce your commitment to presence over pleasure. Simple statements like "I observe and choose" or "this urge will pass" serve as reminders to stay grounded when cravings arise. Repeating these phrases helps redirect focus and strengthens resolve during challenging moments. Use grounding techniques to anchor yourself in the present when urges feel overwhelming. Physical actions, such as feeling your feet on the ground, pressing your hands together, or taking slow, deliberate breaths, help shift attention from the craving to the here and now. These sensory anchors calm the nervous system and enhance your ability to respond with intention. Plan ahead for situations where urges are likely to occur. Anticipating triggers and rehearsing your response equips you with strategies to maintain presence. For example, if you often crave distractions during work, prepare a list of mindful pauses or brief physical movements to use instead. This proactive approach reduces the chance of reactive behavior. Surround yourself with environments and people that support your practice of presence. Minimize exposure to high stimulation settings or influences that encourage impulsive pleasure seeking. Seek companions who value mindfulness and self-control. As their example and support reinforce your efforts. Social context significantly impacts your ability to master urges. Reflect on past experiences where choosing presence led to positive outcomes. Remember the sense of empowerment, clarity, or progress gained by resisting immediate pleasure. Drawing strength from these memories reinforces your belief in your capacity to manage urges effectively. This self-trust grows with every successful choice. Recognize that mastering urges enhances your overall emotional intelligence. Increased awareness and regulation of impulses improve relationships, decision-making, and stress management. Choosing presence cultivates a calm, resilient mind capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and composure. Practice gratitude for the moments of choice between presence and pleasure. Each urge is an opportunity to strengthen self-mastery and deepen your connection with yourself. Appreciating these moments transforms challenges into meaningful practice and fuels continued growth. Balance is important. Mastering urges does not mean eliminating all pleasure. Instead, it involves distinguishing between pleasure that aligns with your values and pleasure that undermines your goals. Thoughtful enjoyment enhances life without compromising focus and discipline. Presence allows you to savor positive experiences fully without becoming controlled by them. Develop a daily routine that incorporates moments of stillness and reflection. These practices build the mental muscles necessary to stay present during tempting urges. Regular meditation, journaling, or mindful walking cultivate ongoing awareness and reinforce your ability to choose presence. Recognize that setbacks are part of the journey. If you give in to an urge, respond with compassion rather than self-criticism. Analyze what led to the lapse and use it as information to adjust your strategies. Resilience grows from learning and persistence, not perfection. Integrate movement and exercise to support urge mastery. Physical activity releases natural mood-enhancing chemicals and reduces stress, decreasing the intensity and frequency of cravings. A healthy body supports a focused, disciplined mind. Maintain a mindset focused on growth and possibility. View mastering urges as an evolving skill that expands your freedom rather than a restriction. This perspective encourages experimentation, flexibility, and continued commitment. Celebrate incremental progress to maintain motivation. Recognize that each moment of presence is a victory that strengthens your overall self-control. Positive reinforcement creates a feedback loop that propels ongoing success. Use visualization techniques to imagine yourself responding to urges with calm presence. Mental rehearsal prepares your brain for real situations and boosts confidence. This practice enhances your ability to act in alignment with your values when cravings arise. Understand that mastering urges by choosing presence cultivates profound inner freedom. It breaks the cycle of chasing fleeting pleasures and opens the door to sustained focus, creativity, and fulfillment. This mastery empowers you to live intentionally and fully. Commit to this lifelong practice with patience and determination. The ability to choose presence over pleasure is a cornerstone of deep work and personal transformation. With consistent effort, you cultivate a resilient mind capable of shaping your life according to your highest aspirations.